a happy person. I don't like people yelling at each other or whatever.
Sure.
And like when people are driving and they're just like upset all the time. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they're driving all the time.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true. That's true. That is it's the biggest waste.
But I know what you mean. That
like,
that kind of anger is the worst kind of to see, especially. It's
like it's always because people are driving too close and they're trying to like hedge the whole if you just lay back, like 3 car lengths, and if you're going like a decent speed, like everybody's upset at you, but you are just relaxing, and you don't have to stop and go. It's
just like mentality wise, when you're in a room full of anxious people and you're just sitting back,
right?
Nobody wants to talk to you. I'm sorry.
No,
some elbow move space. This. No, I shouldn't have even. No, I know it's here. I'm an idiot.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
All I need to do is knock this thing off and like.
You're a little out over there.
Oh shit! Whatever. Again, I'm not even. I honestly don't even care. You should have seen the episode I just filmed was dog shit.
Well, you gotta learn.
Not even that. Like I could have fixed it. I could have kind of fixed it, and I was just like, you know what? Do you care? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, that's it. This is mainly for people to listen to anyway. It's not. I'm only putting it on YouTube because I don't have another platform right now.
It's a good way to go.
And that's the only reason I have a video running anyway. Is because it's going to be on YouTube. You might as well have something.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I only watch Joe Rogan. Even though I've watched a lot of his stuff. But
I like having him on the side. If he pulls something up, you can
every
look
once
at
in a
it.
while.
Yeah. Because they do pull
or you
up a
see
lot
him
of
like making
visual.
O faces because somebody said something intelligent.
Regular occurrence. Yeah. Well, him talking to Elon Musk was wild.
Right. I was gonna. say. Well, the getting people out of the cars is gonna like when you're driving. It's like every fucking person has their phone out, and it's like bewildering to me.
Well,
the
think about
just
the
lack
seatbelt.
of just
Think about the seatbelt thing. How long?
Do people not wear seatbelts?
No. Think about how long it took people to actually be like, "Oh, we have to."
Yeah.
And then they put a law like you have to.
Right.
Oh,
like,
if you don't wear it, now you have a fine. Like that's what made people wear seatbelts. Like
crazy.
Oh, it's uncomfortable. Oh yeah, like going through your windshield is not going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You're absolutely right. But
right.
I think that's a good point of like once you have people relaxed a little bit more, first of all, the numbers.
I'm so excited for humanity to have that time back. Just the man hours of wasted human life.
That's a great point. That is a great point because now you have all this time to think. You're not thinking about not crashing. You're not thinking about not dying. You're not thinking about how much you want to kill that motherfucker over there.
Exactly. It's hours of anxiety that our society is dealing with.
And a lot of people drive for hours a day just to work. Like you said, your friend used to walk that walk, like that 4.5 mile walk.
Yeah.
I never had to walk like that, but I've had to take the train for 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, every day there, and then 2 hours a day back.
Yeah, were you going Brooklyn to Manhattan?
I was going from where I live to Manhattan, and it's like, or going into, the other one was when we worked together in Long Island City, because I have to go up and around.
Right.
So
between Brooklyn and Queens, it's like the connection doesn't even exist.
Not really.
It's like separated.
Yeah, not really.
Apparently, what's going on there? Apparently, the trolleys used to fix that problem.
I believe it. Those things are one of those ancient not ancient, but like things that I don't really understand why.
The gas companies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they pushed the politicians, I believe, to.
Oh, because they were all electric.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. If you look at the map of the trolleys, it connects Queens and Brooklyn and all wherever you would be like, man, there should really be a train here. If you look at like the subway map, you're like, how come these places can't go to each other?
Well, they
used to.
They had it.
Yeah, they used to, and they just took it away. They replaced them with buses.
What's really funny is electric's coming back. That's the really funny part of like, all buses are going to be electric very, very soon.
Well, a bunch of New York ones are hybrid, I think, already.
I think so. I don't know. I heard that. I heard that they were doing that, but I don't know if that ever ended up. I don't take the buses. So
they got USB ports, which is, I don't know if I trust that.
You know, I saw that once a long time ago. When you know what, where. It was a long time ago. It was like
a couple of years they had it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember seeing it and being like how much is that? Like, because that's going to be a big part of like, there's going to be charge ports everywhere. Do you remember even 10 years ago, there wasn't charge ports on the corners of Manhattan?
Right.
You know, those information ports, you can charge your phone, and then homeless guys sit there and use their, they live there because they have a charge port. Like,
good.
They're going to, well, no.
Get them a charge port.
I am 100% for that, but it's a wild thing of, like, those charge ports were never there.
Right.
And now they're going to be, I mean, in 10, not even 5 years, they're going to be everywhere. Like, they're going to be the kind of thing where a storefront has them on their storefront, so you get to the storefront. Like, it's just...
Well, hopefully we can get rid of wired charging. That would be really nice.
You know, I remember those... I think it was Starbucks did it for a while, and then it, like...
They had the, like, Qi devices or something?
It was something... It was one of the little ones where you had to set your thing
Doesn't
on,
work.
but you had to put a thing in your charge. It was like a ring that you plugged into your phone, and then you put the ring on the charge pad.
What?
And they worked.
Yeah, that sounds complicated.
Then a year later, all of the tables in Starbucks had these charge ports, and they didn't use them anymore. So they had, like, all these... things, this technology that maybe it didn't work, maybe it didn't end up being efficient enough, but everybody was so excited. They're like, oh, I don't have to
carry my little light charger around my bag.
And I think wires are really going the way of many things too.
I just got the Quest 2. I'm super excited. Super excited. It's got the two things that I wanted. What's
the difference between the what are the two things?
Well, before I got a VR headset, my rules for myself, I always make like rules for like big, like if I'm gonna make a big purchase, I'm like, if you need it for a specific project or whatever. And my two rules for a VR headset was that I wanted it to be wireless and I wanted to be able to use my hands to sculpt. The sculpting thing they made a couple years ago with Medium, and then the Quest
That's so cool.
So fucking cool.
And
then with the hands, and then it's wireless. It's like, and here's the fucking. And I think they're taking a loss. They got to be taking a loss on it because it's $300. It's ridiculous that it's.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
I saw ads on my Facebook, and I was like, oh, that's a scam.
But here's the thing. There was like
$300. I just spent $500 on a Quest.
I know. Oh, you actually did?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a Quest 2 for $300.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's why I thought it was a scam.
I didn't get it for $300. I got it for get this $254.
Holy shit. I bought my friend one.
The most like modern, fucking, the most advanced like little piece of. I mean, it's not the most advanced. There's way better VR headsets, but for
at-home wireless,
ridiculous.
Just remember the things you just put your phone in and then you put it on your head.
Yeah.
Even those were like
a piece of cardboard.
A piece of cardboard, exactly. Well, that you could like download the information on how to make it at your house with that thing and like just.
Yeah, I spent like a whole night gluing that thing together.
Yeah, and it works pretty fucking well.
Pretty cool.
I mean, especially for like games and stuff. Like it doesn't, or.
I am more impressed by it than I am by using it. Because I'm like the amount of like hours I've spent like learning how to make this stuff in it versus the amount of time that I've actually spent like using a VR thing or I just like we were saying before that like we would like more time to do other things. I need to like dedicate like an hour of the day to like play games in VR.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I don't get games that I have to put time into. That's my new rule.
I was looking at No Man's Sky and that's why I didn't get it.
Oh, is that like that limitless?
The fucking universe.
Fuck that. I can't put that in my life.
I know.
I can't do it.
I know. I'm gonna be fucking mining and shit. I'd rather be mining in real life.
I'll be a loser in 2 months. I'll be a fucking loser.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll have bad skin and I just won't care anymore and I'll be like, well, this is fun.
That's actually what these things are. My girlfriend and I were playing this game called Divinity, which is like the closest thing to like D&D that you can get on like a computer, sort of. And
it's virtual though. It's a virtual.
No. It's just whatever. Just, third person little characters. Turn. I don't know all the phrases. Turn-based. Yeah. But it's got all these like unlimited options. You can walk up behind someone and try to pickpocket them.
Okay. All right.
You can like teleport in like behind places you're not supposed to. You could fuck the game up. It's like it's really like I've never done D&D, but my understanding is that there's. I've
your abilities are as long as it's rational, you're able to do it. Kind of
basically.
Thing?
Basically.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I liked about D&D. The fact that like your guide, whoever the dungeon master or whatever,
right?
Like. He decides or she decides whether or not you're able to do stuff based on rationale. Right, like, that was really cool.
Yeah, and you just do, like, a number roll, and, it's the same type of thing. So, in that game, we would play for, like, a couple hours, and then like she would go to sleep, and I would be up till like 6 a.m.
Just playing.
Like, but not even playing, farming. Like, searching online for, how much items cost, where I can get the thing, what these combinations are, and like I'm not allowed to play Pokemon anymore because I would play it for hours.
There we go.
Fucking farming eggs.
Great example.
Pokemon, walking for hours.
The last turn-based game that I played.
Yeah.
Because I knew. Like I got the Stick of Truth, the South Park turn-based game. That's that's same exact kind of game. And I played it for a little while. I didn't realize it was that kind of game, and I played it for a little while. I was like, I guess I got to give this to a friend. Yeah. Can't do this because there was so, again, like all those other games, there's little details of things that you could only find if you did it and in the South Park game, there's a lot of irrational stuff too. So there was rational and irrational.
Crazy shit. Yeah.
You could hit Stan's mom, and you weren't supposed to, but if you hit her, she started having an orgasm.
Oh my God.
So that was one of the first things that I realized. I was like, oh, that they went deeper than even D&D goes, because D&D and those games are usually all rational. It's like, you're able to do this because you're able to do it. Yeah. You're able to do this because you need to do this. Right. This one was like, you're able to do this because you need to do it, but you could do whatever the fuck you want also. You could even not play the game, whatever, and it'll be funny, because it was like watching a South Park episode. It was so funny, the little things. I was like, I can't do this.
I played like 10 minutes of it, and then it was too much like Divinities, and we had just finished it, so then I didn't play it. There you
go. So what made you?
So what I was saying is, so we were rich in the game. Like, we just started buying whatever the fuck we needed, but it was because like I had researched myself into having all this stuff, and then in order to like I had been selling some stuff on Craigslist. There was a couple things that I wanted to, so and
from the game, you mean?
No, in real life. In real life, I had like an old drum set. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, some people do that, right?
I farmed for hours and then just sell it off. Yeah. I'm sure that happens.
No, there is. Yeah, for sure. People sell like accounts and shit. It's wild.
I've seen that. Seen that. So anyway, you
and so I was walking back after selling someone like a watch that I had like found on Craigslist, because I was just trying to clean some shit, and I was thinking to myself like, man, why am I not trying to do in real life what I do in every game, which is like create a little money making scheme, a little machine essentially that makes money, so that I can that I can do what I want to do and like have the good Pokemon. Instead of like I don't play any game the way that I live my life, which is like bare minimum, trying not to take on little responsibilities in order to, because like I don't want to have to deal with.
It's probably the risk factor, right?
Yeah,
the risk factor of like, in the game, if I lose it,
it's a big deal.
Fuck it,
it's just 8 hours. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then so I'm walking back, and I'm thinking, so like I had figured out the night before, a couple nights before, like I said, like what the cheapest combination of stuff is to make a thing.
Right.
And I was like, what in our reality is like the cheapest combination of materials that makes the most expensive object? Because that's exactly what I had like figured out in the game. And I was like, and I was like, oh, McDonald's. I was like, no, actually art.
Oh shit!
And I was like, I'm already that job.
Yeah, with art, as long as you get the right buyer, you could make anything.
You make garbage into the most expensive objects.
You literally don't even need to make it into anything.
It's true.
You can literally just go.
Yeah.
All right. 500.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, you don't want it for 500? Well, Jerry's going to take it for 6, so I'm going to give it to Jerry.
Jerry's he's definitely.
And now you sold it for 500.
Yeah, he's a nice collector. Yeah.
I'm sorry for just randomly.
No, no, it's true. And then so I started laughing at that, and then I thought about, I was like, okay, well, I've made like 20 little objects over the last couple of years.
Just little projects,
things that I was fixing something.
Okay.
I had like a problem, and I made a thing.
To help you? Like a tool?
Yeah, like a USB switcher. There's like a button, and it either has the USB plugged in or not plugged in, because I got multiple monitors, and I want them on and on sometimes.
Sure.
And
workarounds.
Exactly. Yeah. And I had made a bust. I had made this thing where it's like a head with like a chest, like one of those old like Shakespeare or like Beethoven busts that you have like in an office, or if you're like a psychiatrist, you have
sure. Okay,
just
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? I made like a skull
Mm-hmm.
that I had some like Halloween skull laying around, and then I carved some styrofoam so that the controllers of the VR headset fit in there, and I like covered it in leather, and I like put it on the wall, and like it's so enjoyable to like pick the headset off and put it on, and then like take the controllers out. You feel like Batman. You're like you like pull them out of their like little sleeve.
So it's literally just like a holder for them.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's all. It's
that's
like
cool.
like the negative shape of the controllers.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's why there's two parts here.
Okay.
Right. So like one is gonna have in it the like. In here, I'm gonna 3D print and sand the same way I did with some of this stuff. The negative shape of the controllers, and it'll slide up into here. So there's like different variations depending on which version of the thing you have. There's different controller holes.
Okay.
Because there's multiple different types of VR controllers at this point. But the headset, everybody's got a head. There's no difference with the head size.
Right.
So for that, I got these two heads right now, which is what I'm working on. But yeah, so that there was a couple objects. There was some like jewelry that I had made for like my mom and my girlfriend, but I was like, this thing seems like something like I wanted this. Other people might want this, and I think with like
it's where the best ideas come from.
Yeah, exactly.
I need something. I needed this thing.
I needed this thing. Yeah. And
that's where that competition I'm setting up is that exactly where it comes from. Where like I know I have these ideas all the time. That means other people have them.
Yeah, and better ones.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, especially better ones.
Yeah,
like that's,
for sure.
Especially people who don't have that mentality of you, where it's like, oh well, I need this thing. I might as well make it.
Yeah, right.
Nobody has that mentality anymore. I mean, you're lucky you have a place to work and stuff like that, but it's just kind of sad. It goes back to what we were talking about before, where people are really they're waiting for the machine to be able to do it for them. And they're like, oh, it's coming soon, huh? Well, I guess I don't have to learn a trade. I'm just gonna sit back and wait. Anyway, so you developed this just because of the need for, like, you saw the potential of it just because you liked it. But what made you delve into it? Like, what was the? I literally was. Because I'm sure you have other things like that.
Yeah, well, I had just like sort of like, I had like I stopped working for the same guy that I was working for, and so I needed a job and I was applying to some stuff, and I was like, well, I'm putting a lot of time into trying to get a job. What if I just like made my job? What if I like made this thing?
Sure, yeah.
And I've like had this. I mean, like, you know, any like artist, I think in any field, you feel like a pull between like creative exploration and paying bills. Yeah, and loser. Yeah. Right, creative. Yeah,
no, and paying bills.
Most of us are closer to loser.
Well, right, but what you're saying is completely accurate, because I, for 95% of my life so far, didn't realize that you had to kind of have a line there. Yeah. You kind of need it.
Yeah.
Now,
they didn't do that at all in art school. I paid thousands of dollars to the state to teach me about art.
Nothing. One of my teachers did, though. Not the school's like curriculum and everything. Like, I mean, I went to acting school and years of fine art stuff, but none of, like, one teacher told me. He was like, look, do what you love, but if you are living in a fucking shoebox, how much of what you love is going to be valuable? You know, you're going to keep making it because you love to do it.
Right.
Nobody's going to want it. Nobody's going to even want to look at it eventually, because it's going to degrade with you. And it's going to go, and you are your art, blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
yeah,
well, I'll figure that out in 20 years.
I thought this was an acting class, and I got to think about myself.
Well,
I'm sure that's actually most of what that stuff is.
No, when in acting classes, right around when I figured out what the teacher was talking about, because I realized in acting school that I'm not an actor.
Okay.
I'm not an actor.
Is the purpose of those classes, like, I feel like the purpose of, like, in like a painting or a sculpture class, the purpose is like to learn the technical part or the conceptual part, and it's not about it in society.
I think it depends on your teacher too, because usually that is the thing. It's usually the technique of and the practice of and learning styles and whatever else. But I think depending on the teacher you have, because that was always the thing. It was always, I was lucky I had really great teachers. I got into good art programs too because I just cared. I guess they saw that I cared.
Yeah.
But
that's probably the most important thing, I would say.
I would say too. Yeah, but
practice.
These teachers had different ways about them. So, like, in high school, we had 2 art teachers, and I think they did that with the art program on purpose, because these guys were polar opposites. One guy was the guy who was saying what you're saying of, like, you need the line, and you need to support yourself, and you need to do this whole thing, and it's a business. You're getting a job. You're training for a job right now, and the other guy was like, make your art, brother.
But it's shitty. It's the thing with like there's a lot of conversation in the game world right now about like how you get paid for making games, because you can have like you mean
like developers actually?
Yeah. That's like a major point of conversation, because you can have like
they're going to be the next fucking kings of society.
Oh, they're going to
have great jobs soon. Really...
Oh yeah, well, it's going to get more game. Actually, it's probably true. It's probably true with
working at Starbucks is going to be developed by a fucking EA gamer.
You're right. Yeah, no.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. I didn't even think about that. I was going to say that they might have hit their max, because I know that there's like a lot there was like this like smartphone game explosion.
Okay.
And a bunch of people recently got rich off.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Like Angry Birds. I think he made like $1 million, and then not Angry Birds.
Well, that guy did too.
He did. That guy's even richer.
But
not Angry
the
Birds.
explosion you're talking about is after Angry Birds.
What's the little the single button bird? Flippy Bird.
Yep.
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird.
He made $1 million and he took it off because he was like, this is dumb. I was just testing to see how to upload an app onto this fucking platform.
People are so dumb that they're like, this is
easy.
It's
addictive. No, it is addictive.
This is what I mean. I don't mean dumb. I mean like their brain's like, well, this is easy.
Yeah, no,
I'm good at this now.
It's complete.
I don't have to work.
It's complete lizard, but you're not good at it. That's the part, because it's random. So like you can get good at it. It doesn't fucking matter.
But even if you did get good at it, you're not working towards getting good at it. You're just practicing the rhythm of pressing the screen, and that's not really.
If you're even doing it, there are games now for phones. They're like ultra casual, where you don't have to press it.
What do you do? Just move your phone? You mean those?
No. It's just like a simulation. Like you just turn it on, and then it like accrues points, and like shit happens.
So you're not playing? Wait, I'm confused.
You're. I mean, it's on.
It's on, and that's you playing.
Yeah. There are like ultra casual.
This is why I think that the gaming developer world is gonna mesh right into real life because of stuff.
What's happening in China?
I'm sure it is.
They're gamifying. Yeah, you get like society points.
Oh man, I knew that was happening because Black Mirror did an episode on it, and I knew that had to be happening somewhere for them to do it, and that's one of the scariest. I mean, society points is one of the scariest things in my mind.
Super
for
terrifying.
Because think about how humans are. Like, first of all, we're competitive.
Yeah.
Second of all, we fucking really, really, really self-conscious. And, well, some of us anyway. And the other side of us are super egotistical. So it has the potential to really spread us out. Like, really, like...
Yeah.
In a lot of the dystopian stories where there's no general society. There's the poor and everybody else. It's a scary thing because I don't think I'll live in it. I don't know if I'll, like... I feel like I'd be one of those people who lived in the mountains at that point and like said, all right, if I'm not able to buy food without society points, then I guess I'm going to go grow my own food. I feel like that anyway. I don't know.
Think the virtual world is going to be as... I think it's going to be more specific.
Specific in what way? What do you
mean? It will be parts... Like, you don't need VR for communication. You don't need VR for having telling what your deli sells. You don't need VR for...
But don't you think it's going to be less of a VR world and more of an augmented reality.
It's augmented.
World.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that is.
Oh,
this
that's what
world.
you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
Augmented is this world.
Yeah. Sure.
So like I think
with the filter and the layer.
Right.
Of,
yeah.
Well, this is what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about being in another
completely.
place. Yeah. Not
okay.
like Ready Player One or anything like.
Right.
Not like that.
Okay.
I mean more like we're gonna keep. We love like this.
Yeah.
This. Sheds are a great little microcosm of who the person is, who the family is, what you find important. You got bikes here. You're actually working on things that your tools are made for, and you, like you said to me earlier, like you've spent so much time in here that this is basically part of your house. We don't want to get rid of this shit. We don't want to get rid of any of this stuff. If anything, we just want it to look nicer.
Right.
Like there's going to be people who live on filters, live on the shiny filters and stuff.
I for sure think that our living spaces and definitely public spaces will become a lot more virtual.
Or at least filtered, you mean?
Filtered, exactly.
Yeah,
because you don't need a lot of the shit that's in our house is...
You never interact
is
with
not
it.
useful. Yeah.
No, you never interact with most of your stuff. Yeah.
And if you could remove half of it when you need to, that would be way... it would make all of our spaces way more
things like
valuable.
Even things like pictures on the wall.
Exactly.
Imagine how many people would change the decoration of their house if they didn't need to nail in another thing and find another stud and do the whole thing.
Or they could have people like professionals curate their house, which is or AI, which is even better.
Either AI or somebody like me would want a game developer to be like, hey, look, design me a cool ass house. Do this in the style of Portal. I want a Portal house.
Yeah,
I want random fucking portals to appear in my house that are usable for the virtual stuff that I have. Like I can throw the virtual skull that you made through the portal and it'll land on my kitchen table. Things like that. I would be like, come on in. Yeah. I wouldn't even want a computer to do it, but I think that's a big...
Actually, I think that's really interesting you're saying that. My sort of where I think I'm going is that I want to be... I want to create UI is too science user interface.
Okay.
Sorry, is too techie and scientific.
Okay.
I would like to paint the fringes of everybody's reality. So exactly what you're saying, where you hire my service to kind of be the visual system that you experience your life through.
Sure.
So some people would want a fucking fairy thing, and some people would want to change it week by week. Yeah. Somebody's living in the past might want a Trump one.
Sure. Yeah. Some people who hated Trump would want a Trump one.
Would want a Trump one, yeah. We're an anti-Trump one in the year 2040.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. We'll see with their family. I don't think we're done with them.
I want my world to look like if Biden had won.
Yeah. Well, I don't want that.
And it just as there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just nothing. We needed the asshole. Oh shit! Oh goddamn!
I mean, it's I'm talking it's way less than what I'm saying, but I would like to have little creatures and if you go into a deli, right? I was saying deli before,
deli cats, but they're virtual. You mean that?
No,
kind of thing?
A deli. Oh yeah, deli cats. Yeah. But I mean, signs in a deli will be virtual at some point.
Sure.
You won't have
that kind of thing's already happening. You can go into certain kinds of stores and they'll have.
But the thing is, you could have the world could be tinted in the lens that you want to see it in.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's actually the sort of the place that I'm this project. I'm hoping will allow me to be able to pay for rent and food and to hire other people to help me work on the virtual stuff that I'm trying to figure out.
More arms.
Exactly.
Kind of
thing. We were talking about having more to learn more stuff and have more time. And I'm realizing that's what money is it allows you to have more arms, basically.
This is something that I realized recently that I never wanted to accept.
Right.
Especially when we were working together at the
Zombies.
What was that place called?
Indoor Extreme Sports.
Indoor Extreme Sports. I met somebody recently, in fact, that worked there just a couple years ago. He's like, it hasn't changed at all. I described it. He's like, yeah, it's still disgusting. It's still like, Chris was still there at the time he was working. The boss. He's like, he's still
I think they're
the same guy. They're closing it?
I think Corona did it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure they lost a bunch of money because they opened up a place in Staten Island for some reason.
Well, dude, how was that place even open when we were working there?
I don't know.
Insurance-wise,
I don't know how they were open.
If an insurance person came in there, he'd be like, "Are you guys kidding me?"
Yeah, or
like,
a fire person. I don't understand.
Or a fire person. Oh my god.
Yeah.
We would have. I mean, we're lucky we never had any kind of emergency in there. We probably would have been fucked.
There were emergencies. Remember the guy who was there one night and his like pinky got sliced?
No.
Completely by like some like piece of metal somewhere.
Oh yeah. And
he needed
that was
like
me.
Nerve surgery. That wasn't you.
No, not nerve surgery. I got seriously cut by a piece of metal in there. Yeah, but
we all did. No, but this kid was his first night.
Oh, I don't think I was there for that.
Like he was like an actor and
oh shit,
poor guy.
Yeah,
like he worked one day and like that was it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure they didn't pay his bills.
I guarantee they didn't pay his bills. They wouldn't even wash our fucking scrubs. Remember that? Putting on scrubs that had been used, and it wasn't like people were just walking around in these things. They were fucking running and acting.
By the way, we were zombies in a laser tag arena, so it was like a zombie scientist. I don't know how to. I mean, that's. Everybody knows what the fuck that means.
It was what was it, like a meltdown, right? It was called Meltdown, and you had to like get to the back to put in the code to stop the meltdown, and we were all the scientists that were all
we were
fucked
zombie
up from the
scientists, and they had like laser guns, and we would attack them and then get shot and fall on the ground and stuff.
Which I never did it, other than my first day. He let us kind of go in.
I don't know if I played either.
I never really played a game. He let me go in for like 2 minutes and try it out when I was starting to get a feel for it, but I guarantee it was more fun than we saw it from our point of view.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like, I mean, because it's going on the same level of what video games are becoming now, like places like the sandbox places and what was the one with Star Wars that like came to New York and then ended up just resting in Disney World. You know what I'm talking about?
Is it a VR experience?
Yeah, it's called the
Void.
The Void, yes, the Void. Those kind of things was where we were working. Was
same type of thing.
The first step of it.
The guy who owned IES, I believe he was looking into that stuff because he was selling like virtual clothing and stuff. He was trying to get into that.
That makes sense. And if Corona hadn't hit, they most likely would have just developed into a place like that.
I'm not surprised if he still doesn't, because if you think about it, his building.
Oh yeah, he owns the building.
I don't know if he does.
Or no, whatever. He's renting the building. He could just gut it and then do it again.
He doesn't even need to. I think that if they closed, it's foam and laser guns.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in that building that's very valuable.
Not at all.
He's got, you know what I mean? He had a bunch of like young people who he just like taught, and they like
one room of computers, or two rooms of computers.
Like if they could have put everything into a storage locker and just closed it up for a couple months, I wouldn't be surprised.
No,
and then they could open up something else, you know.
I mean, that's the kind of place you need. You need room. You need
So I wouldn't be surprised if he does that at some point.
Well, that's that. I mean, have you played any of those games?
I don't. Oh man, I went to the Void and did the Ghostbusters experience.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
No.
It wasn't.
No, I was for some reason I was clipping the whole time. My
clipping was
clipping is like when you're in a video game and like your face pops through the wall.
Oh.
So you know, so my positioning was like fucked up, and like I was thrown into the back of the room, and I was just clipping through the back of the room for the first 5 out of the 7 first.
Did you do it early on or something, or was it just a fluke?
I have a feeling that there was just a problem with the rig that I had.
Okay. I've never heard anybody go through that like that.
Yeah,
like, that
and then I think I told them and they let me do it again. But like the third or fourth wall, whichever one gets broken, was already broken, and I was like now seeing it as a developer and no longer, which is
I get that. Yeah.
All of my life is just sort of me trying to experience like music is the only thing I get to experience like a human being. Like everything else, I'm like because video games used to be like a magical fun thing, but now that I've been learning programming and how to make VR stuff, I'm just analyzing that.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Or is it like I used to think about it as an artist especially, but now it's happening even more. But as an artist, I feel like my life is constantly trying. This is so stupid. Oh my god, this is so stupid. I've never actually said this out loud to anybody, so
nobody's listening.
Now I'm saying it to 10 people online. Hi, but the thing that I felt like as an artist, I was constantly trying to build a fourth wall between me and the rest of the world. Not for the rest of the world, but for me, because I saw the rest of the world as like this weird kind of...
From which direction? A fourth wall as in...
I was trying to build stuff that
You were trying to experience?
I was trying to separate myself...
Yeah, okay.
...from... Okay.
You were trying to get out of the Matrix.
Not even. I was trying to get into the Matrix.
So you were the guy who liked the beef.
I was Scyther. So
yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was kind of like that, but not in the same mentality. More of like from Morpheus's mentality of like, you need to know the Matrix as a thing to enjoy it, and since I have to be in it, I want to fucking enjoy it. And it goes back to what you were saying with the what money comes down to is time. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily even need an extra lifetime if you become rich.
If you become rich, right.
Because then you get those extra arms, those tools, people that are tools, everything else. You get those things.
So, that's
and I mean like people who return like interns, like not necessarily people you degrade, but people who are there to do the thing.
So you just reminded me of this thing about society that I think is a sort of interesting thought. That so like evolution of like little to big, right? You got like simple particles, hydrogen, whatever, and you build your way up to like proteins and whatever, you know, bacteria, you know, and then you got humans, and then you get like groups of humans, and then you get these things called corporations, which is actually a multi-human
it's a machine.
being,
sure,
with a single purpose.
It's like an anthill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like that's what created like all of the like crap that we have around the world.
Yeah, those are the machines we use to grow.
Right. And we're like living in like you get these like piles of like things which are like cities, and then eventually that's going to
like layers of paint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's eventually that's going to separate, and we're going to be like right now we're all on Earth, but we're going to be in these little ships, and those ships will be these new beings that are multi-human. Like that's the new being.
Sure.
Is the
you mean so it's like 5 people controlling an experience, like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
No, I 100%.
Yeah.
I have a weird paranoid delusion about reality that involves that anyway, but I think that is a guaranteed ending point, or not an ending point, but a goal for certain people. Even people want that. People who are like in really tight cliques and they have very specific like habits or hobbies or whatever, jobs even, they wouldn't mind living all in the same house and doing all the same job and just interacting with each other and then going out, getting the social thing, but living as one kind of being. We would love that.
We were that on a smaller scale, but we sort of broke it apart recently. In
what way? What do you mean?
People don't live with their... I mean, now people live with their parents, but like...
You mean Corona broke it up?
No.
What do you mean?
Western society. Like, we used to... Like, you don't live general in a family, in a house anymore.
So you're talking about
just a little cliques.
From town to city kind of thing, where it's the spread out kind of...
It grew out, and like, you're not even by your relatives anymore. Like, the blacksmith's wife didn't have, like, a job at the bakery.
Yeah.
She helped the blacksmith.
Right.
Like you were, like you were like a multi-being at that point.
Where bartering is an important thing is that kind of mentality of like we are a functioning organism.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
But we're like a blacksmith organism, or we're like But we've separated it out now, and now you have to be like a single lady, and that's. you want to have all the stuff.
That's a weird one, yeah, because a lot of people will bring that up as a positive thing, and I don't see it as a positive thing at all. I see it as, like you're saying, kind of like as a degradation of what we used to be.
We need to do too many jobs.
Well, we don't have this. The other thing is we don't have the urge to. I mean, you do. You're a fucking anomaly. I've met. I'd say hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even more than 1 million people. I've talked to and interacted with just because of my jobs and stuff like that. I'm working with rooms full of people day after day, different people in background work, things like your job, the job that we work together. I only worked there for a couple of months. I had hundreds of those jobs throughout my life. You're an anomaly.
In terms of what?
In terms of your urge to actually be an actual person.
Oh, that's depressing.
But that's where the blacksmith mentality of doing your thing, not necessarily just to support and to facilitate your own family, but to help facilitate and support your town, because that is part of your family and the whole structure of the whole thing. We've lost that, like you're saying, but I think that it is because of the individuality and the progress of the individual, and like women can be their own person, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing on a personal individual level, but as a society,
nobody should be restricted to having to rely on somebody.
No, I don't think that either, but we should have some kind of drive.
Yeah.
And we're not taught, like we're talking
not just feeding yourself doesn't seem like something.
That's not a drive, yeah. That's where things like universal income come in, where, from certain people anyway. Certain people want it there so that you can, like you were saying, like they want that base there so that people can live an actual life.
Yeah, that might actually, I think I would wonder if we would be more collective if we did have UBI.
I think so.
It's interesting.
I really do. I don't think that... I think
because it's like less dog eat dog at that point?
100%. I think that there would be probably a sliver of the society that does just live off... Like, people who don't want it use that argument of like, oh, well, people won't care. Like, no, people don't care now.
There's too many jobs anyway, and there's going to be less.
And
people are living to like 75. Both men and women have to work.
And they're able to work until they're 75, too.
Right. Well,
like, it's not like you get to 40 and you... Well, that too, yeah. But also the jobs that are around now, nobody wants to do. Think about it. Yeah. Like all these jobs, there are jobs that are, it's fucking guaranteed that they're going to be robots doing them, because nobody wants to flip a burger. You want to be a cook maybe, but you don't want to flip a burger.
You want to flip a burger like on 4th of July for like an hour and a half.
But that's not your job. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's something that you don't mind doing to feed your family. Exactly.
Right.
Like you like doing it if it's having an effect, but if you're working at McDonald's, you're not even having an effect.
Right.
If anything, you're having a negative effect.
It's like the postal thing. You just sort of feel like it's like the mail always comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's a weird one, because the post office kind of thing, unless drones get involved, that might be one of the last human jobs.
Why is a human required for it?
Because the
dropping off part?
No, I think that it's so I'm looking at it from a weird perspective, but I think that when the 6 rich white guys are sitting there making all the decisions for everybody, if that, like, I use that as a metaphor because even if it isn't true, it's a good way to look at how structure is set up and divided, and right. They're all sitting there and they're like, well, we could have the machine at the place, they do the sorting, which is probably going to happen pretty soon, the sorting.
It does the letters, I think, already.
Okay, all right. So, but like to a specific degree, the sorting could definitely all be robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. And everybody goes, yeah, that's a good idea, yeah. And then they go down the line, but then it gets to the human interaction part of people going out and having the first person, eye-to-eye interaction and relationship with their male person. It's a big thing in certain places. Big thing, and I think that will be enough, because you will have less and less human interaction with these jobs being taken over. I think they'll look at it like a necessity.
The postman will be this, like,
it's your connection. and it doesn't even have to be human really. After a while, it could just be a cyborg that is enough of a human, right. But like
behavior response robot.
Sure, yeah, but at first, I think they'll keep humans there because you want that. Like people love. They love trusting their mail person enough that they can give them a little bonus on Christmas. You know, little things like that. Like they feel important,
right?
Because you know, this guy's he's just doing his job, but he takes care of me.
Right.
He takes care of me, and that whole thing, and that's a real mentality. My grandfather has always been like that with his mailmen.
That's funny.
I mean, but that's an old school thing that I think will drag on for a little longer than.
Yeah, my father, he's in his 80s.
Yeah,
same type of deal.
You used to have to rely on it, right?
You used to rely on everybody, though.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's what I was getting. You used to have to rely on it, and so we still care about that thing. Yeah. We don't have to rely on the burger flipper, and so we don't care about the burger or the burger flipper.
Right. Now you go on your phone, which is like you masturbated on it 10 minutes ago, and then you
or you're doing it at the same time. You're like, put on an Uber. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get a fucking Uber Eats. Well, hold on. Like
the person comes as thank you machine.
You're like for adding your onions. It's like you're right though. It's already so separated.
Yeah.
That I mean, during this pandemic I've ordered out more times than I have in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm sure a lot of people have.
Yeah, no, guaranteed. Yeah, but I'm not even that kind of person, and that's why I think about it like that. It's like, yeah, we've separated for sure. And I kind of like it because I'm able to tip these people now.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. It's more direct. Like, it's wild because, I mean, that's a wild one. I don't know if you experience this, but like, people really respect somebody who sees where they're coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with a delivery person, if you've ever delivered, you know how good it is to like, let's say the delivery is a half an hour delivery and he's bringing you one bag. That's for most people. And it's like a $35 meal, right? For most people, that's like less than a $5 tip. For most people. They're like, I give them a tip. The fuck? I give them like a $10 tip.
Yeah.
I can't even really afford it. But I do that because I've delivered food, and getting that $10 tip is like, that could have been your only tip all day.
Right. I've heard the same thing from people who waited or work in retail or
that's
something.
where it comes from, exactly. And that's I do the same thing with I've always done the same thing with waiting tables and eating at restaurants, but I never did it with delivery people until this happened until right before this happened, really, because I was delivering food. I was doing for Postmates in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And I realized how
is that like intense? I feel like that'd be intense.
It depends on what you're doing.
Is it like constant at like pushing shit to you?
Again, it depends on what you're doing because there's 3 levels to it. You can do it on your bike, you can do it in your car, you can do it on foot. If you're doing it on foot like I was, it's not as you get one and then you get another one. And
is
it's
it like
kind of
parcels?
Slow. Depends. Postmates deliver everything. So I was like one night this was the best tip I ever got. In fact, from one of these things. All I delivered this guy was a with the electric cigarette it's one of the electric cigarette companies
like a Juul,
it was Juul, yes. It was a Juul cartridge though.
Okay.
He like ran out. You could tell what happened, like
you brought him like a peanut essentially, like the little object.
But it was the thing that he needed, and it was get this, it was downstairs from his apartment. Hilarious. Was the store.
Yeah,
and you could tell. Because he opened the door a little bit, grabbed it, and like he was partying. He didn't want to go downstairs. He needed his fucking Juul.
Yeah.
So he gave me a good tip. He like saw that, like he's like, all right, I needed this. He might not have even been thinking about me. He might have been thinking like, if I give him a good tip, we'll bring it right quick.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Whatever it was, but I got like a $15 tip on it on like an $8 thing, and I was like, I'm gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking great because I always did it in restaurants because I waited tables, and then doing the delivery thing, I was like, man, I could do this with delivery people too, and I'll make their fucking day. This is a weird mentality, but I want to make a lot of money for 2 big reasons, and those are the only reasons I want to make a lot of money. to have that base that you were talking about, the ability to not just get more stuff done, but to give people jobs that they really want to do.
Right.
Helping me out with projects.
Be able to help other people.
Yeah, I'll be able to go, hey, John, look, you love doing this thing, but nobody wants to pay you to do it. Yeah. I can afford to pay you to do it. Right. I don't want to fucking do it. Sand all these corners for me.
I'm thinking exactly the same way.
Yeah, but I love that mentality of it. But the other thing is the ability to circulate that money. I love giving people shit. I just gave my friend an Oculus because he mentioned it one time when we were on vacation, and I said, well, you should just get one, they're awesome. And he's like, yeah, well, he like gave me this reaction of like, it was either money or just the amount of money, whatever it was like, yeah, well, I can't really do that. And so I said, well, what if I just bought you one? And his eyes lit up. And he was like, oh, you're just fucking with me. I was like, nah, well, whatever. And we went on with conversation. 3 months later, I came to his house and I gave him one. And he was like, holy fuck.
That's nice of
you. It's like, I knew when you called me, I knew it. I remembered and I knew it. And I was like, that motherfucker, he's bringing me a fucking thing right now, and he better not be. And I was like, well, here it is. If you want it, if not, I'll sell it back to whatever. He's like, oh, no. I'll take it. But I love doing that because it's like, first of all, it makes you feel good, obviously. Absolutely. It's a self-righteous thing to a certain extent. I didn't give
gifts until a couple of years ago.
I always used to make my gifts. I couldn't afford to.
Well, I do that a lot, too.
Yeah, but, I love doing that. You were saying you did that with your some of the stuff you made was stuff for your mother and your girlfriend. Yeah.
Well, my dad is like really... All he wants, he like demands a card.
Interesting.
So I
talk about time perspective of like the importance of a card.
Right.
Yeah.
And like he's got a good collection of them. Like
I'm sure
they're pretty clever. And then he wants like a birthday and a Father's Day card.
Okay.
But I always did cards because like that was like what was required. But it wasn't until I had. I think it was this girlfriend, and there was like, I don't know.
You just realized the value of a gift or something?
I just, like, I got, you know what it was, too? I had a decent job. That was, like, the first year that I actually had I wasn't hurting. I had money in the bank.
Sure, yeah.
And I was also, that's true, because that was probably the first year that I was, like, buying people drinks. We would go out for zombies, and I would always end up spending, like, the entire paycheck that I made that night on other people's drinks.
Sure, yeah.
Especially towards the end when everybody was leaving, because it was, like, there'd be, like, 2 people leaving, and I'd get them each a drink.
That's awesome.
But, like, it was alien to me before then. I remember one time, like, early in college, we went to, like, a deli to get, like, 40s. And a buddy of mine was like, I got this one, you get the next one. And, like... I've, like, heard that, like, on, like, TV and stuff, but, like, I don't know, in this neighborhood, like, Forest Hills, Queens, we never fucking did that. We'd be, like, I don't know if we would, like, not give people, we would give them, like, the bare amount or whatever.
Sure. Use your change to get them something?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I definitely had to learn that aspect of it, and it's, like... It's pretty sad to say, but it feels.
It's not sad.
It feels so. It definitely feels good to give to people, which 100%. Is like super. I don't know why it feels like it's surprising.
Well, it's because you had to grow into it, I think. Yeah. Because if you had grown up like that, it would it'd be normal. But we're not like that anymore.
Yeah. But I was given, so why I don't know why.
See, but gift giving specifically for either a specific point or just a random gift, any of those. Is its own thing. And again, you fell into it a little bit more because you had the ability to see it from a different perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like your ability, like that's why I made stuff for people for a long time, because I loved getting gifts. Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit about gifts.
See, so it's
probably that like love, that like ways of love thing that some people have been talking about.
Well, no. What do you mean?
That there's like some like that people experience love in different ways, and that like there are different like. Some people, like, the types of love you need is different. So, like, some people need, like, attention. Some people need to spend time together.
Sure, I know all about that. Yeah, it's based on the love that you have gotten, right?
Is that what that is?
Yeah. No, I think that's what you're talking about. I don't know. It sounds...
I know it on a super abstract level.
So it sounds like the idea that I've heard about is the idea that, so if you grew up, like a spoiled child is a great example. If you grew up with your parents giving you all the food you ever wanted and all of the services you ever wanted, but no actual attention or actual love.
Oh, you want that.
You don't need any of the other stuff, so you end up being a rich asshole usually. You end up having a job that gets you the financial support that you always had and needed, but then you're out in the world looking for this thing that isn't there. Or the opposite, where you grow up, like I grew up with a very middle-class family. They were not, they weren't doing badly, but like, okay, so like when Sandy hit, my mom had to get a trailer. Live in the trailer on the stage. She couldn't afford to just go rent a house for whatever it was, 10 months with her their 2 kids.
But she could afford to rent a trailer.
But she kind of, it was cheaper. She did that. Yeah. And she ended up living in that very low budget, very, also again, she was the kind of person who like didn't go to the regular butcher and spend $10 on a pound of beef if she could go to the actual butcher and get, you know what I mean? Like not the deli. She would go to an actual butcher. And so she had those little tricks around, but like with those tricks, she was able to do her life. I was in that mentality of like, not spending anything.
You have the good stuff, but you do it specifically.
Good enough, yeah. Like not like, I mean, not like also not always good. Like all my dad ever, when he got divorced from my mom, he didn't know how to cook. Like my mom loves cooking. He liked giving me what I needed, but wasn't really great at it. But he still tried to. Yeah. But they didn't give me things like video games. They didn't want me to have. They said play them at your friend's house. Yeah, that's fine.
All of my video games were actually most of my toys even were not most. Many of my toys were like yard sale toys. We would like go to yard sales. And like pick up like my Nintendo. I got when I remember my friend got N64 like a couple weeks before, and then I got a Nintendo.
See, Nintendo 64 was the first one I ever got.
Did you got it when it was?
I got it
like hot.
No, after it was hot.
Okay,
but when you could still it was
still reason that was a good thing.
Everybody was still playing it. Yeah, it was only probably like a year after it came out, so it wasn't like when it first came out. It was like $400. Remember, it was like ridiculously, or $300.
Really? That's a lot.
I think it was. Pretty sure.
It's not surprising. It was 3D. It was fucking crazy.
It was the craziest thing you've ever seen. Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
Wild. And the games were actually fun, too. It wasn't just visually stimulating. It was like, whoa, this is a different fucking thing.
This is cool.
And
you turn a little joystick and you turned and you're like, what?
Dude, and the camera moving, like the 3D aspect of it was so new that you were like blown away. And I think that's why my dad ended up getting me one, because he saw the light lit up in my eyes, as opposed to just wanting it. I just want a game. I just want a game. My parents really couldn't afford to get me games, really. I mean, they could, but that thing was more of a mentality thing of, if they had the money, I think they would have just gotten me a game. They would have been like, oh yeah, you want a game? Fine.
Yeah.
I got that respect for, I mean, people have said this a million times and it's so old, but I got the respect for going out and getting dirty and building shit and doing stuff with my hands and stuff like that way more than my friends did, because I wasn't sitting in my house playing all the fucking time. My friends, they played all the time. Like, they all had a Super Nintendo, and they all had what was the next one? The, in between Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo was before 64.
Yeah. It was Super Nintendo something and then 64.
No.
It wasn't a Nintendo product.
It was Nintendo. Oh, in between. Oh, maybe it was a Genesis.
Maybe it was Sega Genesis. It was one of those. They all got
Dreamcast. I don't remember.
Dreamcast. That's it.
That's what it was?
Yeah, because that's not Nintendo. That was it. Okay, it was with a disc, right?
I don't have a clue.
I think the Dreamcast had a disc. Well, either it doesn't matter. Whatever. They got those things right away. They were involved with that.
Yeah.
Not to degrade their parents, even. Like, they were just doing what they thought was, their kids wanted, and it was a great little thing for kids. I'm not even degrading video games, but I think that I was lucky enough to
know that there's alternatives.
Not just alternatives, but that should be an alternative.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think that...
Right.
sitting there and like mindlessly doing a thing should be the thing that you go to, and then, oh, maybe I'll make a sandwich, or maybe I'll do this other thing, or maybe I'll work on my project. It should be the opposite way of like, oh, I need to have a mental break from doing this thing. I'm doing this thing, working for 7 hours straight. I'm going to kill some bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking let my brain just bleh. Yeah. And like, that's what I use video games for now.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I got a VR headset. I can't get any of those games where you delve into them because they'll take up my time.
You just want like a arcade shooter.
I have arcade shooters. I have Super Hot is one of my favorite games ever.
So cool.
I've beat it and I still play it. It's fucking fun.
It's awesome.
I've figured out that the game, you might have figured this out already too, that the game is developed that if you figure out, there's multiple ways you can figure out a level, right? Mm-hmm. If you do it better, they let you know. You ever seen that? The game developer has let you know you did it the way it was supposed to be figured out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude,
if you kill them in the right way?
Yeah, so let's say you got a guy here and a guy here, and then you're the guy who's closest, right?
Yeah.
If you look at it automatically, you would usually go for this guy first because he's the closest. But this guy in this scenario doesn't have a gun, right? So you pick up something and you throw it at that guy first.
Which sends the thing to you, his gun to you, probably.
Not even. No, that's not even what I mean. So, you kill that guy, and then you kill that guy. Once this guy gets close enough to you, maybe he, like, crouches down, and then you have to, like, bend down a little bit to get him. With you wouldn't shoot him because he's right there. You just punch him.
Yeah.
You crouch down to punch him last, and there's a hidden gun under the table that you would have never seen because the level didn't need you to crouch down at all. And so, in that scenario, you were supposed to kill this guy first, that guy second, and that guy third. But if you look at it first, it looks like kill this guy, kill that guy, kill that guy. That's a bad example because that wasn't a real level and it's not how it was made. I get
what you're saying, that they leave like little Easter eggs so that if you are following in like the motion that they were expecting you to go,
the efficiency of it, you
get like more stuff.
Yeah, so it's and also it sometimes makes the level easier too. That's the other thing. If it's a multi-position layered thing, a level where you kill these guys and then you open up again and there's multiple people, you would need that gun, but you've been doing it 5 times without the gun and it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then you figure out, oh shit, I did the first part right. They let me know, and now this part's easier. It's throughout the game. Yeah. It's so cool. It's so cool.
The part where you, like, I don't usually play games where you like redo a thing 1,000 times, but it really feels.
I've never done games like that. Yeah.
But it really feels like
except for Mario. You had to do Mario.
Yeah, you start from level 1. Yeah. The whole thing there is how fast can you?
Right.
Yeah, you know the portal, the little things and where to jump so that you jump through them. And
I've done those a million times, but otherwise I agree. I've never done that. Really.
But with that, you're like Neo, where you're like it's amazing because like when you get the level in that game, like when you do it correctly, or when you like you work it out, like you do something that's too hard, like you're saying you don't find the weapon or whatever, and you figure out this way to do it.
You've been doing it a bunch. Yeah.
It's this like it's like what's it called, a keto? What's the karate thing where you do like a bunch of movements and you like practice out. You know, they have the like they have those like forms that you like do when you do karate, that you like practice a dance. And it's like a bunch of steps together.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's just like that, where you're like, hey, grab this move, slow, do that thing, do this thing.
That is exactly what it's like. It's the form of the matter, the form and the stability of your person is just as important as your visual, just as important as your psyche of like figuring out like how fast this guy's moving. Your movement, and if you look at it like that.
By the way, the way Super How it works is the faster you move, the closer to actual speed it goes. So if you move in slow motion, time is basically frozen.
Yeah. So okay. Oh, I got a great. Okay, so this is a great example of what I was talking about with the actual level. Do you remember the level that says "Dance, Dance" in the beginning?
Yeah.
Do you know why it said "Dance, Dance"?
No.
Did you figure that out?
No.
Okay, so it's a hard level. There's 3 guys a pole to block one of the guys because you can kind of hide behind one of the guys, but all 3 guys have guns and you don't have anything. It's a really hard level, and you just have to dodge bullets the whole time. The whole time until they get close enough that you can punch them. Right. It's a hard fucking level unless you figure out the clue that they give you that says dance, dance, which I figured out the 900th time I did it.
Is the polars block all the shots? You do. What does that do?
You're dancing. You're moving your head back and forth, and if you do this with the controllers, you're not moving your arms around, so you're not giving. You're keeping your thing very tight.
Yeah.
You're moving time.
Oh, you're moving
hands,
time.
And you're dancing because you have to move around the bullets. So you're literally dancing, or you could do this or whatever, but you have to move your body.
That is how you beat that level.
And you dance.
Yeah, I was just moving my hand.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about
or you click the buttons. You move your fingers. Even you do that, whatever. But you have to move your body to move around the bullets. So you're dancing.
That's funny.
You're actually dancing.
That's like the one shitty thing about VR games is the ability to like hack them because of like your interaction with like physical space. I went to.
You mean the limitations of your physical space, or
no, the advantages of the fact that we're in physical space. So like I went to VR World and there was a game. There's 2 people. It's you and somebody else, and it's like a first person shooter type thing. And so
was it the Raft?
I don't remember what it was, but we were both like robots, I think, and we fight each other.
Oh, cool.
And so I was, we wait online. And so I'm watching everybody, and everybody's like cycling through the weapons and picking like cool guns. And on one of the people, I saw that there was a sword in there. And I was like, what? There's a sword in there. So when I went, I just took the sword, and the guy's trying to shoot me. I get on one knee, and I'm just teleporting and stabbing him, teleporting and stabbing him, teleporting and stabbing him, and he can't shoot me.
Okay.
Because I'm like... just a little knife wielding.
You're odd jobbing him.
Yeah, right. And like in VR, usually that's like it breaks the immersion completely because you're just like that whole teleport. It just doesn't feel you're cheating. It doesn't feel
cheating.
good. But it's
like in old games, you would have a cheat code to do that. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Right? Yeah. But with that thing, when you're shaking your hand, you're actually. Like it feels like you're cheating. Like so I thought I was cheating, but that's actually just the way they're just like you. That's you gaining control of time feels like you're cheating.
Interesting.
I didn't even think about that. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Well, in that game you're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, Super Hot's one of the games I play, but all the other games are games that are like I play the fight or what's it called? It's a boxing one.
Thick of the Fight.
What?
Thick of the Fight?
Maybe, yeah. Something of the Fight, yeah.
Thick of the Fight. That game is fucking awesome.
It's fun. It's fun to sell, and it's
Except
hard.
My girlfriend can't play it. I put her in the... She's a massage therapist.
Okay.
I put her in the like, demo level, where it's just, like, you and, like, the like, fat trainer guy. And she punched him once, and it like vibrates a little bit and it gives you like a slapping noise and his like dead fish eyes staring at you. She just like ripped the headset off and she was like, they're really dead eyes. They really are. They really are.
It's a good point. I never thought about that because I'm fighting them. I don't think about that, but they are. They're just like sitting there. Like
boxers are crazy.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Everything about boxers are mentality, everything. Mike Tyson's one of my favorite people now.
Yeah,
he really is.
It's amazing.
You ever heard him talk about his history?
Yeah, I saw him on Joe Rogan. In this last couple weeks.
He's just a fascinating dude.
I didn't know.
So why do you say boxers are crazy? Like, what's the specific?
Because I'm punching the air. And the thing is not responding to me correctly. So like not responding as in like it's not like dodging and whatever. At least not what I got up to.
It's not an AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that intelligent.
Yeah, it's not responding.
And like in the beginning even like I could hardly beat the first guy when I started.
Me too.
And I like the first time I did it, I think I just got on the floor in fetal position because I was just breathing so heavy, and I like it like and these dudes go like 11 rounds.
Dude, it's crazy.
And they're punching each other. And they're getting punched.
Yeah, and they're getting punched too. Yeah,
and they're both huge.
Yeah. It's not like you're punching me. It's like yeah, it's crazy.
What?
It's so crazy. Yeah.
No, I always thought the hugging each other was a weird thing, and now I get it completely. They're fucking tired.
Completely makes sense.
They're tired.
Yes.
I did not. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Why are people watching this weird thing where they hug? Can you imagine in baseball if they hug each other? But
no, but you're right. Yeah, they get to like third plate and like, hey, what's that was a long run, man. Fucking crazy. That was crazy. Yeah. No, I never knew that until years ago. I saw my friend. He's a boxer, and he was running in the middle of the winter, and he had his sweatshirt on, but he has shorts on, and he's running in the middle of winter. I'm like, dude, why don't you just go to the gym or something, and run on the treadmill so you don't get a cold? He's like, no, fuck that, man. I don't want to. I can't pass out in the middle of the ring. But I also want to be hard. I don't want to be one of these soft motherfuckers. Like, he started talking about, like, I don't want to be running on a treadmill. Like, what's that doing? Like, I don't have to dodge rocks and shit. I don't have to, like, move around cars and shit. Like, I don't have to live on a treadmill. I want to be actually running. But he was basing it around the stamina aspect. He's like, I don't want to pass out in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
and I never thought about it before. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. That's a real aspect. And my friend had a good point about the other game, the Tyson fight, I think it is, or not Tyson. We were just talking about Tyson. The Creed boxing game.
Creed, yeah.
I think it's the Creed one. It might be another one that has a stamina bar. And my friend's like,
for you or for them?
For you.
What does that mean? Like it builds up.
You have a limit of stamina that you have to let rebuild.
Oh, okay.
And so you can only punch for a certain amount of time, and then your stamina goes out, and your vision goes fading, and you're tired.
So you can't machine gun punch if you don't have the
you have to build up your stamina. Yeah,
not that I can machine gun punch, but
But my friend was like, it's so stupid because you have your own stamina. It's a VR game.
But that's why I think of the fight is so good because it fucking curves it to your strength.
Exactly.
Which is why it's so hard.
You need to get better at that game. Yeah. That's why I like that game, because first of all, you don't need to play the game. You don't need to be good at it. But if you are more physically fit, it's funner.
It is funner. Yeah, it is.
And
especially if you know where to punch, that helps. The first time I didn't even know where to punch, so I was just exhausting myself.
But this is the kind of thing that you learn, and I'm using the fight game not as a game even. I'm using it as a workout.
That's how I use it too.
Yeah, because it's fun, but it's a workout.
Like I said, I haven't used VR much. I would say 90% of the hours that I've spent in VR was exercising.
Yeah, sure.
I have 3 games that I
used. Beat Saber's another one.
Beat Saber's a good game.
Yeah, total workout.
My ceilings aren't tall enough, so I can't use that. I have Audio Shield, which is...
Wait, what's not tall enough?
My ceilings.
Oh, so you're hit... Oh, damn, that sucks.
Yes, I'm in a basement, and the ceilings are... If I stand, it's a foot above my head.
Ah, that sucks. Yeah, so, you wouldn't be able to play.
No, so Audio Shield is very similar, except you have 2 shields. So it's more like punching in the air.
Oh, yes, I've seen this being played. Yeah.
And the cool thing with with Audio Shield 2 is that it's a cool thing and not a cool thing. It's a cool thing because you get it's your music.
Oh.
So
I saw a different game then. This was something else.
Okay. So the AI automatically makes the game based on whatever you put into it.
That's so cool.
So initially they had a YouTube plugin. So people were just playing fucking anything. Yeah. And then I think Steam or something or YouTube blocked it. So now you can So now you can only, and then Beat Saber came out the next month. So they got fucking smushed.
Yeah.
And now there's 20 other games that are like that.
Yeah. And Beat Saber charges you for
for new games. Is
any song.
Yeah.
Any song that wasn't made for Beat Saber, you have to buy all of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's a good.
It's a marketing genius thing. Yeah, but you know what my friend did? He just hacked it.
Can you do that?
Apparently, he told me, he's like, you want to come over?
I just farted. I just farted with my hands.
Hey.
Or I just farted.
I used to love doing that.
I couldn't do it when I was younger. With age, my skin hand. I could never do the armpit thing either.
I fucking love that.
Could never do that. I don't understand how that works.
I was such a...
Do you have clammy armpits?
Well,
do you
it dry? Helps. No, it helps, but you can just do it with the... You feel it out. It's a weird
Next time we talk, maybe I'll be able to do it.
Okay, so you know what? Do you ever see Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
There's a scene in that. It's one of my favorite scenes in any movie. They cut to him walking back into the office, and like he's like with the boss or something, so like it should be like a serious like work environment, and what's his name? One of his friends in the movie is standing there. The kid that has like the car bed and shit. Mm-hmm. That guy, he's standing there trying to teach the other guy
how to do it.
Yeah, he's like, just practice in your free time and stuff. You'll get it. It's just so funny because it's such a stupid thing. Oh my god! But
my workout is Audio Shield, which is like nice and aerobic because you're sort of like punching to the music and whatever, and like I could start off like on
timing
like,
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I could start off with like an easy song and like build up to something harder. And then like end with like Metallica or something. It's like really long.
Sure, yeah.
So that I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
And then
you have an arc too. You can go down and just relax a little bit.
Exactly.
You can do whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That stuff is good for like start off with something easy and then do something fast and then I would do like something long.
Yeah.
And then I played Hollow Point. Have you played Hollow Point?
No, never even heard of it.
Really good. Bow and arrow.
Is that the one where you're teleporting to different things and you have to defend your castle? Is that
no.
So that's a good one too.
It's fun. Steam's like Workshop. That's one of their games, right?
Yep.
Where there's like little dudes running around and
it was then there's big guys that come in later on. There's like
I was really bad.
Come in.
I played that before I played Hollow Point.
Dude,
I bet now I would destroy them because now I'm like Neo. Now I'm like fucking fast.
That's awesome.
At it.
And the bow and arrow is such a cool.
So satisfying. You drag the arrow and it fucking vibrates.
Yeah.
So this one is. You're like in the middle of like a dojo.
Okay.
And there's like these like glowing orbs that appear around you and you hear them. So you hear like behind you, you turn around and you shoot the thing, and then there's like different ways it responds to you. So like one you shoot and the instant it gets popped, it fires an arrow back at you, so you have to dodge.
That's cool.
And then there's ones where you shoot it and it's like it's sitting on the floor, you shoot it, it jumps up in the air and does like a flip for a second, and then it hits the ground, and when it hits the ground it fires back at you.
Okay.
So you can shoot it and then shoot it in the air and then it doesn't shoot you. So it's this whole like sort of dance of like listening, spin hit, spin hit, spin hit, spin hit.
Like an equilibrium.
Yeah, and it's a lot of dodging and exactly. And
that's what Super Hot reminded me of, the gun dance. Just like that whole
Yeah,
I want to get this now.
Hollow Point is amazing.
Point? Yeah, sounds
amazing.
Good.
Yeah,
sounds
definitely.
Fun.
I think the most physically satisfying VR experience.
Now, do you need? Which headset do you have?
I have the Windows one, so but I play Steam games for the most part.
Sure, but what I mean is, do you need to be hooked up to a desktop to play this one?
I don't know where Hollow Point is.
Okay, because like the one I was talking about, you couldn't do it on a regular Oculus. You couldn't.
I don't know.
Didn't have the space for it.
I don't know. But the thing with that is, where what I was saying.
Oh, but you're in one spot, right? You say you're standing in one spot.
Yeah, so you could do it with a 360.
That is yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What I was saying with the Super Hot, where you sort of like you get the movement.
Yep. The rhythm.
With this one, it's the same thing where you learn the timing of how fast the thing comes at you.
Sure.
So when what you realize is that you don't have to dodge when it shoots at you. Because what I do is I move myself, fire, and then move back to my position, and it fires where I was.
Oh shit!
So instead, what you're doing is you are setting up where it's going to hit you, and you're like in front of the movement.
You're playing.
Yeah.
You're playing the game. Computer guy as opposed to playing another parent.
Exactly.
Like, wow, I got you. That's cool.
So
That's really cool.
So you end up like your body position. It's the same way where your body positioning gets a sort of like you get like a physical cognition of
and you're connected to your body.
Yeah. You're
one
connected.
One of my favorite things about VR is the connection. My friend this is one of my friends that doesn't have a VR yet. He needs one because he doesn't do any like physical exercise or anything, but he loves video games.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
And then I end it with Thick of the Fight.
You don't think I'm exhausted. But you don't think you're getting a workout.
Oh yeah, you do.
No.
It doesn't. You're not bored and saying, "Oh God, this sucks."
You don't think about it as a workout. You think about it like I'm getting tired.
I'm getting tired. Yeah.
Like as opposed to
I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, or I don't want to get tired. It's like no, I want to beat this motherfucker up. Like I don't want to get hit again. Like I don't want to. It's I did this one thing. I don't do this anymore because it's just not fun. But what you can do is you can crouch down, and get him in the stomach like this. And then when he eventually goes like this, you just get up and knock him out. Like, so it's cheap. It's
those 1-2 punches end up being really good.
I love the game because I realized that, man, if I had gotten into boxing when I was 16 or 15, I would have fucking loved it. Yeah. I love the combination aspect of it. I love opening them up. I love working towards getting a headshot. As like what you were just saying,
you
the build up of like, all right,
You're
so
planning.
now, yeah, I'm gonna punch you 5 times just to get that one punch in. That's so satisfying.
Just when I stopped playing, I had it like a wire. I had like a wire problem, I think, because I put like a 10-foot connection on the end of it, and it's supposed to have like a 6-foot connection, so it was like 16.
Okay.
So the you know, there's a lot of data going through. The computer is calculating the VR space. And then the headset is seeing where you are and sending back to the computer. And there's all these things going back. So like adding an extra 10 feet, like it's a lot of space. Sure. And so randomly you'd be playing and I'd be like super like into it shooting arrows or like fucking punching the fisheye guy. And I mean, I got past that. I think I got 5 on that. And then it would scream static at you in the fucking headphones.
Oh, Jesus.
And it would stop tracking.
That sounds
And it's the
terrible.
most painful thing in the world. It just feels like you got ripped out of... It's like when you fucking... The dream that you were telling me about. Where
you're also getting pulled out of the fourth wall is being shattered.
It's super painful.
That sucks.
And so I sort of just like stopped using it, and because I couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
But at that point, that's when I was starting to get up to the point where like I think like a couple days before then is when I had finally gotten to the 5th guy in Thick of the Fight, and I was finally learning that that like punch here twice to get him here once, and then that, and like I mean.
I wonder how hard that game gets too, because like the 5th guy is pretty fucking hard.
The one in like the arena, right? Yeah.
Well, no, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Have you gotten past that guy?
So wait, is it the guy after the Irish guy? Is that what you're talking about?
There's multiple. You're like in the like little arena, and then there's like a bigger arena, and then it feels like you're in like a. It feels like you're like on like a boxing ring on stage.
Maybe I didn't get to that point. Maybe I'm talking about like the couple guys before that. But whatever it was, like I feel like the level of hardness. Like I hope that it doesn't like just cut off. What I mean is, I hope they keep getting harder.
Keeps getting harder
for like 20 levels.
Right.
I hope it's a good.
It has to. It has to.
Like Super Hot is only like 15 levels, but the levels are designed that you could do them better. Like I was just saying before, so they're more. It's more like 30 or 60 levels because you can do them. Their replayability is so on point if you want to.
Right.
That it's a big game. I want the boxing one to be like that because I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. How long have you been playing it?
Not long. Let's put it this way. My batteries in my fucking controllers, the AAAs, just died from when I bought the thing.
So you got it.
And I bought it like months ago. So I haven't played it a lot, but in playing it over those times, I've gotten better and I love doing it.
That's the cool thing too. It's that physical learning is so apparent in VR.
Yeah. It's in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you have to leave and come back.
It's like hand sculpting.
Right.
As opposed to, I don't know, like sculpting something on paper and having somebody else do it and then seeing it later. It's like in time of like you're learning and getting it and the vibration of like the hits and stuff. It's connecting with you in time. It's a real... Yeah. Again, like if you're working out as opposed to doing a boxing match in the game, when you're working out, you feel like you're working towards a goal. In the boxing match, you're in the goal. You're not, you know what I mean? By the in-time thing, you're not, you're so in the moment that it doesn't fucking matter what you're doing because you're in it. That's why I think my friend should get one because he doesn't like physical activity, but he loves video games.
But it's physical, but it doesn't feel like you want. I've tried to play some like sitting down stuff, and like some of it you want to stand. Some of the VR stuff. Moss is one where you're like it's like a platformer, or you're like a little mouse jumping around, and like just like sitting in there. I was like, man, if I'm gonna have this headset on for a couple hours, like I'm gonna maybe go turn on Doom instead of this thing because I haven't played that yet. This is cute. This is nice. But like,
I bet Doom is great.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. Actually, that's not true. I did like the first level where you're like collecting some objects in. I think I shot like 30 zombies, so it wasn't like or 30 demons. Whatever.
So how does the movement work in Doom? You obviously can't walk around your,
Yeah.
Is it a control?
It's hybrid. So there's and it seems like nobody's sort of decided what the thing is. So there's dash. You can like push like forward. I think.
I know what you're talking about. And you go 10 feet. You go 10 feet. Yeah, that sucks. I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's teleport.
Yeah, I hate that too. I fucking can't stand it.
Joystick move.
Okay.
And then there's like room scales, just stepping.
Sure.
So you have all of those controls on your hand.
Okay.
So I didn't play enough to get the like thing. Like I was sort of getting turned around a little bit.
It's too in between. Yeah, it's not where it's supposed to be yet.
It's a little.
Doom is a full motion VR game. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You need to be running around. Yeah.
And
or at least feel like you're running around.
The thing is, though, that dash thing actually makes it more like real. Like
how Doom used to be.
Yeah, you shoot them a couple times, and then you can dash into them, and it explodes them.
So it's a tool too.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so
I just don't like the dash thing. I don't know what it is. I just don't. I feel like
I don't like teleporting.
I don't like that either.
Yeah,
I don't like that either. I don't like the dash. But I think I only don't like these things because I know that running would be so much better.
Yeah, right.
I think that's how
it
is.
To have a giant open space. Yeah. To have the fucking holodeck would be much better.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have that?
Well, my first idea, it's so funny how ideas come about and are facilitated based on your position in life. When I started working for the VR place, my first idea when I saw augmented games, we had like this game called The Raft, where all it is you just are working in a 20 by 20 space, and everything's in VR other than the ground. So it's basically not augmented reality because it's, but you are running around. It's a physical VR game. Right. And you're running around and you're picking up guns with your, you have the controllers obviously, but your movement like that, I was like, oh, you could do this to a whole building, right? Yes. And my boss was like, yeah, that's being developed. I said, what if we bought the rights and developed a whole mansion and made Resident Evil 1 and just buy a mansion or buy that house, or something that looks enough like it, build it to the scale and make a fucking Resident Evil game. And he was like, yeah, that's a great idea, but there's guaranteed somebody else doing it right now. And then like a couple months later, he's like, this is what you were talking about. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is the game that I thought of, the first game, but
I believe in Japan there's like a zombie town.
Oh, that's cool.
That you can go
That's
to.
cool. See, that's the kind of... I can't wait for that, personally.
Oh, Westworld shit is going to be super...
I don't know anything about Westworld.
Oh,
never seen it. Sorry, I don't know.
I've never seen it. The big spoiler is which we probably get in the first episode.
I don't even care.
The whole thing is sort of like an amusement park.
Okay.
It's like a Western, but everything's like a robot.
Okay.
And you go there to you go to like a country. What is it?
It's an experience, but like a real life experience.
Right. Yeah. And you can you could do anything. You could rob the bank. You can fuck the prostitutes. You can
that's cool.
Hang out in the bar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a real. Everything else is an AI except for a couple players.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, not VR, but like
Yeah. So I think those type of places are going to be.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, they'll be. I mean, they are real now. Like you're saying, there's a place now like that. But that's the first thing that came into my brain, and I'm not a developer or anything. So, in my brain, I can't play games like Doom with the shitty versions of moving around.
Right.
I can't play even shooters with the have you ever done the thing where it's...
God, it is so stupid.
Stupid.
I did it end of last year. I think I paid like $30 to fucking stand in that thing. Yeah. I was giggling. Yeah. I'm going, this feels so dumb.
It's so dumb.
I'm like flipping
it's
my
even dumber after you've played after watching somebody else play. I'm doing this now. This is what I'm doing. I don't fucking...
You're like a duck or something.
Yeah, and you can't get into the game. That's what I can't. Run around shooters are a thing that I'll start playing in 5 years when we have the ability to remember in player.
You need to put a couple hours into it, but it's actually pretty good.
Wait, what?
You need to put a couple of hours into it.
with the motion track?
No, not that. Maybe that one too.
With what?
But just the run around thing.
No. I have put in a lot of hours.
You have?
Oh
okay.
yeah, when I worked at this place, we had a lot of games like that.
Oh, okay.
One of them was that Arrow game. It was all teleportation.
And you had the Vive probably, so it's pretty good.
We had both. We had Oculus and we had Vive. I played them all. I played all versions of the things. I tried basically all the things that you could do other than the one treadmill thing that he said it didn't work anyway because you couldn't run. They had actual treadmills like in Ready Player One where you could run around as an all direction treadmill.
Omnitread.
Huh?
Omnitread, I think.
Omnitread, yes. Yeah. Okay. But you couldn't run in it.
Right.
So how are you going to play a fucking shooter without being able to run?
You flop.
It's so stupid.
It feels really dumb.
It sounds stupid. Yeah, and I told my boss, I was like, I'm in that category of people where I need to wait until you can run around.
Yeah.
Or at least feel like you're running around. So like things like Neuralink is where VR's headed anyway.
Absolutely.
You know, all technology, physical stuff is going to be gone pretty soon.
Yeah.
Overall, like in the next 10 years, you're not going to have headsets.
It won't be gone, but it'll be virtualized.
No, but I mean
the physical manifestation.
The physical thing. You're not going to have headsets anymore. No. You're either going to have thing in your brain, or you're going to have a contact that you buy the Oculus Contact and you put it in.
There's also a is it iris? Is that what's the little plastic thing? Not plastic. The thing on the front of your eye, the little glass lens.
The iris, yeah.
Is that the
that's
iris?
the iris. I think so.
Whatever it is, there's a space in there. That like when you have like a problem with your eye, they like cut that like lens off and like do some shit under it and like let it like just like put it back on or like flop it back down or something.
Christ.
Apparently that's LASIK. They use a laser to cut your little lens off.
Is that what they do?
They peel it to the side and like clean under it.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And apparently it's not healed really ever.
Really? Is that why you have to redo it?
I don't know, but it can just like flap open.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it freaks me the fuck out.
I guess I'm a glasses guy.
Yeah. No,
I was thinking about
You're not, because if you're not competitive in the economy, then you're going to have to get it.
I guess I'm a glasses guy.
No, you're not. Everybody's going to have the Neuralink. Everybody's going to have the whatever, even if it's like a basketball in your ball sack. If you're not competitive in the world and it's affordable, you're going to get it.
No, I get that. But what I mean more is like I'm gonna start getting LASIK once that stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
for
I'm
now,
in a later group.
Oh, I feel you.
Fucking, like with Neuralink, I'm not gonna get it for a long time. I'm good.
I don't know. I haven't decided.
Well, I'm just basing it off of
knowing that people don't tell you everything and don't look at all the things and
what I'm waiting for is okay. So you know the pig thing that he did. I'm waiting for when that thing. That presentation, instead of being pigs, is being two people having a full conversation in separate rooms with each other. Once that's the base level thing that they're showing everybody, then I'll consider it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like you said earlier, he probably has the advanced version of it. But he's taking a risk doing that. He knows he's taking a risk, and he's fine with that because his team developed it.
Right.
My team didn't develop that shit, so I'm really not okay with the risks of implants.
Right.
It scares the fuck out of me.
And you don't have doctors that are probably at call or
in the next room. It's not like that. It's not. And also with the VR thing, I'm good on doing the teleportation thing or the fucking jumping ahead thing because it's so not what I'm looking for that I'm actually having a worse time than if I was just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I have a great time pulling the arrow back in that game. But as soon as I have to transport over to another thing to start doing the game, I start having a bad time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not here anymore. I would rather have just a game system where you track your room. This is all the space I have today. Okay, so this is the space that I'm defending.
So you like actual room scale without any movement.
And games that will attach to the room scale and develop from there.
Have you done the one where you move your hands like this? Have you tried that?
What's that?
I forget what it's called. There's
to move. You mean?
Yeah, there's an add-on.
I've never played any of those. I think that they're probably in my head when I'm playing. Like, I don't even need to, because in my head, that's the same exact kind of thing.
It's the same thing. Well,
it's too in between.
There's a couple ways that they've done it that's interesting. The one that I think is the most interesting is the one where you grab space and move it. I have yet to do it, and I there's actually a game that I'm thinking of making, which I think uses it. If you grab here and then pull towards you, the world moves.
That's cool. That's very cool. It's like a mixture of Super Hot and what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's like the same thing but instead of time, it's space with that one.
That's cool though.
It's really cool. Yeah.
It sounds like it would be separate enough from like it's a new enough version of moving that I might actually be able to play that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. The game that I'm making is like it's like volleyball on steroids.
That's
so
cool.
like, you know how in volleyball you have like your space that you're in, like your room,
your side of
your
the net?
zone, sort of, and if you're playing like with like 6 people, there's like 6 zones on the field that you can imagine.
Yeah.
So the game uses the like physics of volleyball. That's actually like it sort of pretends like you're doing like a volleyball lesson in the beginning, and then the volleyball lesson like breaks, and the whole game you use volleyball mechanics to play a full game.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of. It's hard for my brain to grasp, but it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, you're like I didn't even get to the weird parts about it, but the thing with it is that those zones, I was thinking you could pull yourself to the next zone.
Okay.
So like I'm in this box, I drag it over, and now my space has moved to the next space.
Okay.
And that would allow you to play. I mean, just for the volleyball aspect of it, that basically allows you to play volleyball on a full volleyball field in a room that's the size of a single like little zone.
Yeah, because you're not actually having to
run around.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. That would work for a certain.
It's a type of game. It's you wouldn't want to play, I don't think, Grand Theft Auto where you're like just pulling space.
Right, but there's a lot of games that you could use that kind of movement for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
There are things I gotta see what has that system, because it's like it's funny because you had the same response that I did, where you're sort of like, well, that seems less shitty for some reason.
Well, it's different enough.
Yeah.
It's different enough from old school video games, I think, is the thing. Because when I'm using the controller to do the movement, even if it's teleportation or if it's with the joystick, I feel like I'm playing Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm doing VR anymore.
Yeah,
I don't have this. I don't have the ability to just let shit go sometimes with reality, especially where. Like you were saying it earlier, where once that thing happened in the game, it ruined the game for you because it cut off. From there on, you were a developer and not a game player.
Yeah.
That happens to me way more than I'm comfortable with, because I saw where those games were going, because I know just the intense level that you get to when you're fully in those games. Oh, in fact, speaking of Super Hot, they do it perfectly. They layer it so that even though it's a standstill game, you feel like you're literally in your own. You feel like you're not playing a game anymore because of. So you remember in the beginning, they make you put on the VR helmet and go into the VR game in your VR game.
Well, not in the beginning. I think.
No, it's after the first level.
Right. Yeah.
The first level, they don't even tell you anything.
There's just something sitting there, and you have to. That I use that as a bunch of people's first VR experience.
I do too.
Because I don't tell them anything. I put the headset on. That's amazing that you can just put somebody into an experience. They've never used the goddamn system before.
Never even used the system, yes.
You can't do that with a television.
No, you can't. Especially televisions now, because there's no like an on button.
There's no buttons.
There's no... The button's like hidden underneath, like under a thing.
My dad and I just went and picked up an air conditioner from somebody on Craigslist, and the thing's just a box. There's no like vents. There's no remote. You use your phone to connect over Wi-Fi.
Use your fucking
There's
phone.
not even buttons anymore.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! That's the scary part.
Like, everything in your house is going to just be like a white like cube. Yeah, and then we'll just virtually put everything on top of it.
No, 100%. That's the way. Kubrick was one of those guys who he really saw that coming. You remember how Clockwork Orange looked? I mean, that wasn't him. That was a book first.
Right.
But
visually though.
But he did the same thing in 2001. He did the flat. Everything's separated.
Right.
You're not even really. I think people like him were way more. By the way, how long have we been going? I don't want to.
6:30.
It's 6:30. What? I don't want to like waste your time and shit. I don't know. Again, I think I told you this before, but the reason I asked you was because not only have we stayed connected, like just the last person I I had this thing with, I said the same thing to him, like, we're not necessarily friends even, but we've connected in a way that we can still have conversations and are able to even send each other something that we know the other person would appreciate. I don't really run into too many people like that.
Right.
And so the fact that you are not only comfortable with yourself enough to be yourself and to be living in this world and still doing shit like this for your own, your own experience, I just have a lot of respect for that. Seriously. It sounds so cheesy and stuff, but it's real. I don't have a lot of like, I've met a lot of people like that, but I have not had a lot of personal experiences with people like that. A lot of bosses like that, a lot of, meeting famous people that have that mentality, things like that, but not a lot of people in my personal, like, living experience care enough about experience to actually live as a full person, and I don't mean that in a
attempt to live as a full person,
or attempt. Yeah, I don't even mean that in a degrading way. I mean like they're comfortable.
Yeah,
and it's fine, and they're fine, and it's and I get that. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm like being like racist towards people who are like I think a Republican would call somebody like a consumer, or a taker,
like a taker, just a consumer.
A taker is what they would say. But it's like I don't know. I don't know how to exist as a passive.
See, but this is what I respect. It's not like you're doing this as a lifestyle because your neighbor started doing this as a lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's not like there's some Brooklyn hipster that now works on his bike because it's cool to work on your bike now. No, you worked on your bike because it fucking broken. You know what I mean? Like you didn't do it for like some image thing. You, when I met you, were we were in a group of very interesting people.
Super interesting.
Never
been in such a exciting pod of people before.
Yeah.
And good people. That's the
a lot of good people too. Yeah, I noticed that as well. It was a wildly interesting group of people. Yeah. But you specifically, you and oh my god, I'm spacing on her name. Oh my god. What the fuck? I feel so embarrassed.
You forgot your name.
Oh man. I forgot your name. You're definitely not watching this, but shit. She was one of the managers. She had that great laugh.
Oh, Sarah Walker.
Sarah. I loved her. She was awesome, but I just spaced on her name.
Sarah Walker.
You and Sarah were these anomalies in that group of very interesting people of like, you seem to really be yourselves. Even like, okay, so like, and again, I don't mean this in a weird, like, in any kind of a degrading way, but like, do you remember this dude? He had a goatee. Shit, I know his name too, and I don't remember it. He had a goatee. He was most likely like he was most likely on the spectrum, and he was very into acting. Super, like, spectrum-wise into acting.
Okay. It sounds like most people who I know are into acting.
Oh, well, no, this dude wasn't able to have a conversation with you without, like, like hitting you hard with, like, why he, like, it was, like, super...
Yeah.
Do you remember who I'm talking about? Oh, in fact, you know what? You might remember him from, I got into an argument with him on one of your posts one time, and you said something like, guys... what the fuck? Like, you're on Facebook right now, and we were going at it. He had a weird name. He had glasses. He had a weird name. He was there for a very short time.
I don't know.
But he wasn't okay, fuck that. He wasn't, in my mind, in terms of what you are as a person, he wasn't even a person. You know what I mean? Like, he just did things because he was doing them, as opposed to like
it was unconscious.
It was so unconscious that it was like the way he talked about things seemingly very conscious, but then you realize that he was just kind of in a flow of just this is what he
just
does.
Like outputting what was input, but like
a total cycle as opposed to getting it in and then working it out.
No filter, but not as in like
no filter
talking, but like he's not filtering it.
He's not filtering it in a good way or a bad way. He's not keeping things out, and he's not keeping things in either. Like, you have obviously grown a very interesting development of growth throughout your life.
I call myself a knowledge junkie, though. I'm super... I like that. I like that. My biggest problem is that I enjoy learning more than I do, like, finishing stuff. Like, even with like we were talking about, like, Pokemon or whatever. Like, that's what I was doing. Like, that research is me prepping and like like learning all the stuff that everybody is doing. Apparently that has something to do with ADD, which I wasn't.
I bet it does.
And I was told by like everybody when I was younger that I had that, but like it seems like I was looking at a list of the stuff that is for the adult, and it seemed pretty accurate at this point.
That sounds very similar to the guy Reggie Watts. You know that guy? So he
love Reggie.
Me too. He's one of my favorite.
One of the saddest things was when he left Comedy Bang Bang.
Oh, dude, I have not delved into Comedy Bang Bang overly. Like, I've watched it a couple times, but my friend was obsessed.
When Reggie Watts is there, it's art. It is like highest art.
It's so good. I never noticed what it was. I never saw it I never watched it, and so my friend was trying. It's like the same thing happened with like Cabin in the Woods. You remember that movie? I remember seeing the previews of it, and it's not sold the way it's sold as a movie. It's sold as a joke as a movie, but in the previews, it's sold as like a horror movie. And I was like, I don't want to see a bad horror movie.
Wait, Cabin in the Woods is a joke?
Cabin in the Woods is basically.
Really?
So what it is it's placating off of the whole trope of all the horror movies, tropes, like the slasher movies. Remember they go into the basement and there's
I don't know if I've seen Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, you have to. If you've never seen this, dude, you'd love this movie.
Put it on my watch list.
Okay, so Cabin in the Woods is with the guy who plays Thor. Mm-hmm. You know, Chris Hemsworth.
White guy with long hair.
Yes. He plays like... It's interesting because he plays...
Apt description of all Thors, but specifically that white guy with long hair.
I didn't pick that up. But he plays like kind of his opposite character, and like in the movie he starts becoming a jock. Like he becomes who he's played for the last 20 years in the movie. I can't really tell you why without ruining it, okay. But like... So
there's some like parody to it.
It's all a parody, the whole thing.
I had no idea that it was one of those.
That's what happened to me. And my friend who told me about Comedy Bang Bang said it. He said, you have to watch it.
It's like that?
Dude.
It's meta?
Comedy Bang Bang.
I didn't know it was meta at all.
So this is what it is. So Comedy Bang Bang is a talk show that's making fun of talk shows.
Right.
But it's also a good fucking talk show. Mm-hmm. Right? This is a horror movie making fun of horror movies, making fun of movies, and making fun of people in general.
But it's a good movie.
One of the best creations, just layer for layer, best creations I've ever seen.
I love meta shit.
It's
a little sad that it's I don't know why it's nice to like things that other people are not into, but it's sort of sad how like popular meta stuff is.
I don't
it's
think
becoming
that's,
like zombies to some degree. I feel like.
I don't think that's weird at all, because I look at attention to things like everybody's in a room. Like I look at ideas or habits or hobbies especially as houses, and those people live in those houses or visit those houses. Once you're living in a fucking house with 900 people, it sucks. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You can sit in a room with 5 people and break down a show like Comedy Bang Bang and really get into it and really be like, did you see that, what they did last night? And then he shows you another little thing that they did, because Reggie Watts especially was so good at those little, you just make a sound effect and it'd be the funniest thing you'd heard all day.
You were talking about people who are like conscious. I mean, I've never met the man, but I just, every time I see Reggie Watts, he's human.
He's a human.
And I'm enjoying watching him because I want to hang out with him. And
I'm the same way.
It's not.
I'm the same exact way.
I'm loving what he's doing. Yeah. I think what he's doing is like
he's the kind of person you want to be around.
Yeah. I'm just watching it. I just like whenever I'm watching him, I'm just paying attention to remember so that when I meet him, I have more to talk to him about. And I just feel like he's my friend.
He is your friend now. No, I see what you're saying, but I think it's more so that he is actually your friend because that is, first of all, it's part of your life. Second of all, he looks at it like that. He looks at it like, oh yeah, well, I'm on the TV or I'm on the phone. Well, those things are always around you anyway.
Yeah.
And I might as well be the TV or be the phone if I'm not around you, so I'm your friend.
Right.
I mentioned him because he talked about this thing. I think he actually talked about it on Joe Rogan. He does this thing with video games where he cycles through the easiest level of the game just to get the game. He doesn't want to play...
Like he plays it on easy mode so he can go through it quick.
He just wants to go through it all. He's gone through, like, he's played 100 games where somebody would have played, like, 10 games because they're going
That's a fucking great idea.
Yeah, and it sounded like what you were saying with, like, you like to go through, get the details of the thing, but learn what the thing is as a thing.
Yeah, this, I love this.
Yeah, he wants games like that.
He's moving in his hand in, like, a sphere motion.
This man, Reggie Watts, if I, like, okay, I love the fact that you say you feel like you're his friend and, like, you want to be his friend, because he's one of
I feel like if we met, we would be friends. Just, do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel the same exact way, yeah. And
I
look at it in a weird kind of way, because I look at it like, he's one of these people that if I was trapped in, like, a prison for the rest of my life with one person, I wouldn't mind it to be him.
Wouldn't mind at all, no.
I would
He'd be annoying, like, after day 8 for like a second probably if we were like on the wrong like hyper vibe.
But this is the thing, he's also the kind of person who I feel like we would be able to have that conversation like, look man, we're already doing this thing, we fucking hate each other, right? Cool. So we're not going to talk to each other for 5 days. We're going to be, this is my side, you're going to do your thing. He would be able to have that conversation.
Right.
You
without feeling threatened or like.
Yes, and I love people like that, and I love you for that same reason. You sent me a fucking Christmas card one time online, and it was just Jesus. No, it wasn't Jesus. It was the 3 wise men. I have it saved on my email. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
You sent me that, and I realized that you were the person I thought you were. And it's funny because you mentioned that thing about your father with the cards. That's probably where that comes from, right?
I think it's a photo of Jesus. It's a drawing of Jesus, and he sort of looks like he's like very femme.
No. This is the 3 wise men.
That's the cover of it. It's the 3 wise men, and it says...
I'll pull it out.
Is it that one? It says like, "Look who's come around again."
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just Jesus, and he's sort of standing there. There's like a couple.
Wait, hold on. I gotta pull it up.
There's like some wise men, and they're like next to a camel.
Yes. Right, because this is the other thing. You've sent me multiple cards like that over the email, so I don't know if I'm remembering. But he's come around again.
Yeah.
This thing was one of these things where I realized, oh shit, I thought he was that guy. I thought so. You know what? Not only did he fucking send a card to some random dude that he fucking worked with years ago, but he sent...
This guy's really looking for people.
That's one way of looking at it, but you know what? I'm one of those guys, so you know, who am I to judge? But no, but you didn't just send a card. That would have been really enough. But you made a card that was really funny.
Well, remember I said it. I got a lot of practice because my dad demands cards on Christmas.
When you said that, that's the first thing I thought
you realized this,
was this card. I'm not even going to be able to find it really fast. But this thing was one of these. It was just one of these things where I realized, oh shit, this dude's a legitimate human being, as opposed to whatever else you can be. Because I got a lot of friends that are really legitimate human beings for a short period of time, and then they fall right back into that just some people would call it like the sheeple of society or whatever. I don't like that term anymore because it's really
it's so overused.
Well, it doesn't even mean anything anymore because it's overused so much. It doesn't what Orwell called sheep would be just the average person now. So you wouldn't want it doesn't, I don't know. I feel like the person that is like the sheep of society is so much of society now that it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Like,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I feel like that's just the
normal. It feels shitty to say because most people don't have a choice because you're just trying to, like, survive.
That's kind of what I mean. It's not like you're choosing to be a sheep anymore.
Right. Like without UBI, like I don't know if it's possible for people to be relieved of that.
I don't think that is even in the design. This is why I think UBI would be a good thing, because the design that we're on develops people like this.
Right. Well, we were responding to a failure in government in Europe.
Well, and it was for smaller groups of people, too. That's the other thing. It works for small groups of people, really. Like, what we did compared to Europe, they figured it out. They were like, oh, shit, all right. Oh, and the leaders, fuck them, too. We're just going to be our own people. We're going to have leaders, but fuck them. We're going to have rules to kind of
I wonder what the balance population was
It doesn't even really matter, because it was pretty good until cities became a thing. Because until then, small towns and then those governing sectors of those towns, it seemed to work until, right?
I wonder if the bacteria and protein and carbon in our body is like, man, life used to be better when it was just, we were just floating around and we were carbon.
You know what's...
And now... it's like, now we're just a cog. Now we're just, I used to be the...
I used to mean something! used to be an event when I came into an organism. Yeah.
I would infect like 3 guys. And
when I was your age, I caused the 1946 blah blah blah. You're right. No, I think that I think that's a real thing, because I think that we, as quote unquote humans, not as animals, but as human beings, I'm pretty sure that we didn't come from aliens. I'm pretty sure that we're not...
Such an egotistical thing, right?
Super egotistical, because it's also...
How could I be so smart if an alien didn't fuck a monkey? Like,
yes. Well, it's that, but it's also kind of degrading, too, in a way. I never thought about it until you just said that, but there's also a flip to that where you don't really have confidence in yourself, because, like, well, we couldn't have done it ourselves.
Yeah. I think whenever Joe Rogan talks about about that possibility, I'm just like, why are you even bringing that up?
It's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
And you got to realize that, like, if you're watching his episodes on talking about that, if you're watching them under, like, 500, number 500, he's just talking shit. After that, he starts to really delve into,
and he has experts on it and shit.
Exactly.
So now
he turned into an actual show of, like...
I'm also, like I'm sort of, like, feeling bad about how, like, much meta has become, like, in vogue. I'm the guy who's now watching, like, in 2020 I just started watching Joe Rogan, so I'm going into the Joe Rogan house, and I'm sure everybody who is there in the early episodes is like, you're just like it because it's like it's different now. It's not even.
Fuck those people. Yeah. Fuck those people, because I'm more on your side of the table than I am on that side of the table.
I don't know if there are people like that, but I imagine.
I guarantee there are. But I don't fuck those people, because they're wrong. Overall, they're wrong. His show is a growing, developing thing.
Yeah. I think there's going to be...
He's an artist.
I think it's going to be... Completely. I think it's going to be... I think you're going to be able to divide politics into, like, people who are Joe Rogan.
There's already a factor of that happening. Yeah. There's like, I'm... it's so funny how being self-conscious works, because I'm not usually a self-conscious person overall, but I won't shave my head because I don't want to be labeled as a Joe Rogan. No, as a Joe Roganite.
Do people shave their heads?
I'm already moving his city. I follow a lot of his mentality of things. Him and Joey Diaz. That guy. The guy. He's on his show all the time. He's a very, very funny guy. But his mentality of life and Joe Rogan's mentality of life have really... I don't have idols.
Yeah.
And those guys are my idols. Like, Reggie Watts is my idol. Like, I never had idols growing up. But these guys, I'm like, yeah, all right, I get it.
Right.
I get being of a mentality of, like, no, this is how I am.
Well, I think the majority of society right now is... maybe not majority of society. American society is extremely binary.
Yeah, sure.
There is no gray. And
I miss gray.
Me too.
I'm a gray man.
The world is gray.
Gray dude.
If you think that there's black and white, you're fucking fooling yourself.
Yeah, racial arguments are my favorite now. Personally, only with friends though. Like I won't do it online. I won't do that. But
everything has such hard rationales for whatever their thing is.
But the missing gray thing is a good version of that. That's what I tell people who are like, oh well, you don't understand. You don't understand because you're not part of that society. I'm like, you're white. What are you talking about? You got to understand that you're coming from the mentality of the person you're labeling as they don't get anything. So we should just have a conversation as to white people.
Yeah.
Right?
That's interesting.
And they're always like, no, you don't get it.
Yeah.
My friends are black and all this thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
And the result of all of this is supposed to be that those people get to live the way that the rest of us have been for a while. It's not about degrading other people and punishing them.
But if you do that, you're just backtracking.
Right.
You're just really backtracking. So you really shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
You need a gray area for people to understand racist argument. You need my friend that was just on the second episode of this podcast. He would be sitting there at a table in background doing background work. We'd be waiting for something to be filming, and people would get into these stupid arguments. And like me and him were always the two people looking at each other like, should we even bother? No, fuck these people. And then every once in a while you couldn't help it. You'd just be like, oh shit, you got a spider or something crawling up. Some kind of...
There's a lot of bugs out here.
Try
to leave the spiders alone though, because they're doing good work.
Didn't want to say anything because this is your space. I was hoping you weren't going to kill it because I thought it was a spider. I don't kill spiders for that same exact reason.
Yeah, I had an agreement with mosquitoes for a while, and they didn't bite me, and then I started killing them and they started biting me. But I think we're sort of like I'm
with you on that agreement thing.
We're like sort of, I think like. They still sort of stay away, but like I also like it seems like we're like a little bit more. I'm not like a Buddhist about it. I don't.
Sure.
That's probably not nice towards Buddhist people, but
you're making a point. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
I don't know enough about it.
You're not an extremist about it.
Yeah. But I definitely just try not to. I mean, also just because they're fucking useful.
Well, this is the thing is you start to look at something like a spider in a certain way. I'm a big proponent of looking at one thing the way you look at everything. And if you look at how you treat a spider like how you treat just another person, I think it has a lot to do with your mentality and a lot to do with like the fact that you're letting this spider go and do its thing even though you don't like maybe the way it looks even because it's creepy.
Yeah.
Or anything about it really. Like spiders are the things of nightmares. Like they're not one of the
right. Well, especially if they were our size.
But exactly, yeah. But one of the worst nightmares I have is not being able to defend myself because there's so many spiders crawling all over me.
Is your like body like held?
It's not. It's more of like a like most people would describe it as, because I think what I'm having in these moments is sleep paralysis. But I don't think sleep paralysis. I could talk for hours on sleep paralysis because I don't actually think it's a thing.
Yeah,
that
me neither.
I think it's one of those things that people like kind of diagnose themselves of, like I have these bad dreams or I have these in between waking moments and I want to put a label on it.
Right.
I feel like that's a thing.
And they put a lot of woo on it too.
100%. And
a lot of woo.
Yeah, and I see because I've had a lot of bad dreams that I knew were dreams because I woke up out of them, but they were what people describe as exactly what people describe as sleep paralysis.
Right.
I'm having trouble breathing and I just can't move.
Yeah.
That. But stress.
Yeah.
All it really is, I think, is your body going, hey, you got to wake up. You got to fucking wake up. You're not breathing. You're not whatever. Your
body for sure turns it disconnects the wire. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but as far as I understand it, or believe it to be, it disconnects the wire between your control over your body because you have to be in the virtual space. So it needs to unplug your physical movement, your control of physical movement from your actual physical movement, so that you can like teleport around your dream.
Sure.
So if you
but you think that people actually are laying there and can't move? Because I don't even think that's a thing. I honestly,
you think they're just still sleeping?
I honestly think that most of it anyway. Maybe sometimes they, there's probably a certain group of people that do actually kind of wake up halfway. But I think it's more of like a dream state that even them looking at their bodies and looking around at the room is in their head.
It's totally possible. Totally possible.
I don't know. Maybe there's more science behind it than I know. But I've had these experiences a lot, and because I feel like because I don't label myself as having sleep paralysis, it's not a thing that, when it happens to me, it happens. And then it's over, and I don't go, in my head, I don't go, well, I have sleep paralysis, so I can't, well, it's going to happen again. I don't want to, I feel like that has a lot to do with the whole placebo effect. I think that that's one of those diagnoses that even if it is a real thing.
Especially if you add woo onto it and you think there's like shadow figures or whatever.
Exactly, yes. Or aliens or whatever you have in your head as this thing. I was just talking to my other friend about, you ever heard this idea, the theory on what abductions are?
Which one?
I'm sorry, there is a lot of those. Yeah, what am I talking about? Yes, I have heard of that one. The idea that abductions are PTSD from being birthed.
Oh, what?
Yo, it's crazy.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy. You never heard of this?
That's interesting.
Okay, so the tractor beam that is pulling you up is the first light you see from the vagina.
Yeah, okay.
It's the tunnel of light, and then once you get tractor beamed up, what you end up with is...
So is death just you like going out of another vagina?
Well, maybe. Well, I think that's probably the cycle of but what you see in the typical abduction thing is these aliens with like no facial expression, just big eyes. What is it? It's a person with this mask on in a fucking hospital room, birthing you, taking you out of your mother. You're being prodded and stuff. It lines up perfectly with the stress, because the person who was talking about it described being born as the most traumatic event of your life.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Right.
You're in heaven, and then you're cold, and you're being slapped sometimes because you're not crying, and you're in an alien world, literally.
Right.
And there's also all these giants around you that you don't understand because you've never seen anybody.
And your eyes are for sure not set up correctly.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even work
So
yet.
perspective is all fucked and watery
Yes.
and like weird.
Exactly. And then you don't remember after that because you're a baby. So all you have is the event of arriving.
Right.
And then all of the rest of the stuff, if you're in a good household, it's not traumatic, and so it's not really in you from, being born to one. You don't really have any memories. So that one is not only your only memory, but it's the most traumatic thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then you have a bad dream wrapped around your PTSD. And that's what an alien abduction is, because most alien abductions apparently happen when people are in the middle of the night, when they're sleeping. They say that the aliens come into their room. Again, it ties into what sleep paralysis is. I think that all that is just you just wrapping around trauma and dealing with trauma, and or dealing with the fact that like maybe you can't breathe for a second because you got some snot.
We know. Yeah, gross. I mean, that's something I haven't seen in a while because of coronavirus. I haven't been out and just seeing other humans with shit coming out of their face. Good old New York fall, winter.
That is a real. That is
not going to miss that. Not this year.
One of the reasons I'm moving west. I'm not really ready for another New York winter right now. I'm good. I'm good. New York winter is a lot of stuff coming out of people's faces for sure. Different stuff too.
Yeah,
different levels. But yeah, so that's the theory on that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I love that one because that's like I don't believe that aliens have like visited us like that. Like I think that if they have,
what are those
nobody knows about them.
What are those? What are the spaceships? What is the UFOs that the government released?
This is something separate.
What is that shit?
See, but this is something separate. See,
this has completely rocked my sense of reality in the past couple months.
I'm convinced
because I was it doesn't. I was already I was happy with the fact that the chances of us being able to see something that we could interact with is so low.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know if they exist in space the same as us. They could exist in 5D space. They could exist in backwards time.
Could be a lot of things.
They could exist scale huge. Sure. They could exist in scale small.
Sure.
They could
even just be smoke. It could be a different form of matter.
They could be microwaves or something.
Yeah, they could be like that. Yeah.
So like the fact that we would by chance be able to see another being that existed
on like us.
Yeah, existed on the same plane as us. And I was content with that. Like that they're there, but that we're not going to get the maybe some bacteria or whatever.
I was similar content level of like, that's how it is.
Yeah,
and we might not even.
I didn't give a shit. Yeah. But now I don't fucking.
But this is one of those things where I feel like you got. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I feel like you got played by the government. Because no matter what that stuff is, all they wanted you to do is that.
Right.
Well, that's all they wanted.
We know that they have people in UFO groups giving information that they want to, like, a lot of the UFOs. Yes, they're giving false information to people, like maybe some real information, maybe some fake information to mix it up.
Giving people shovels to dig rabbit holes.
Exactly. And
and some of them have stuff to find, and some of them don't.
And the whole thing is national security. They're just trying to make sure that, like, that the Russians or whatever aren't just asking these people because they might have some good information or whatever. Sure. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Did you see? Did you see Paul?
Yeah, I did. You recommended it.
Did I?
Yeah, that was great. That was a good time.
Movie. Yeah, his.
But I said to you about it though that movie could not be made in America. That's like one of the most atheist movies I've ever watched.
It really is. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's a total 100%. Just his breakdown of like how like all the aliens don't have sex anymore. It's like, it's just about the pleasure thing. Like that whole thing. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. But his thing in the movie was he says, oh yeah, of course I look exactly what you think I look like because your government has been fucking drip feeding you images of my face so that if you do see me, you don't fucking pass out like your stupid friend there.
Right.
And he's just like, Yeah. I feel like that is way more close to what is actually happening, but on the opposite scale, like you were saying, like they're drip feeding stuff that really might not even be legitimate.
Right.
Sometimes maybe it is, sometimes maybe it isn't, but it's a mixture of just keep busy.
Right.
Just keep busy. Don't have the right information, but keep busy. That on top of the fact that I think that if aliens have visited us, they would be advanced enough and or sneaky enough to be talking to whoever they wanted to talk to.
Yeah. Right.
Seeing whatever they wanted to see, and that's it.
Right.
Nobody else had some weird encounter where they saw this fucking thing until I felt that way anyway, until I saw a UFO that I had no way of explaining not just what I saw, because it could have just been something that I didn't understand technology-wise, but what happened afterwards put me into kind of a point where you're at now where I'm just like, oh, fuck. Again?
Yeah.
Like I gotta start over again now.
Yeah.
I was content. I was
It's
fine.
annoying. It's annoying.
It's very annoying because it's like walking into a new room in your house that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I thought I had everything worked out, mapped out, everything was...
Yeah. I'm also sort of like really into like trying to conceptualize what 4D space means in my head.
So my brain doesn't even like...
I keep trying to do it. And it's a fun... There's a 4D toy box on Steam, which you can do in VR.
I was just about to say, VR is probably going to help us with that a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
So, because it allows you to see a 3D shadow of a 4D object. So
interesting.
Like a sphere is a 2D shadow, excuse me, a circle is a 2D shadow of a sphere.
Yes.
So, if you go up one dimension, you can have like a 3D object as far as like we see it, but it's actually a shadow of a 4D object. And
you can kind of do that in real life too.
But you
can't.
If
you take like two like colored pane glass, and make three colored pane glass and make three sides of a cube, and then shine different lights through those and make like a reflection on the floor. Isn't that basically what you're talking about? where you see the sides as different colors, so it looks like a 3D object in a shadow form. Is that what you mean? Because I'm trying to understand what you mean by seeing the 4D.
Okay, so when you like a shadow is like light that's being projected down onto. It's like makes a 2D.
It's the absence of the light. The shadow.
Yeah, shadow is right.
Yeah.
So if you're a 3D guy,
yeah.
right? You're standing there.
I am a 3D guy.
Yes. Good for you. I knew you could do it. I always knew you could do it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The sun projects down on you, creates a shadow of you on the ground.
Yeah.
And the shadow of you on the ground is a 2D object.
Sure.
So it compressed your 3D shape down into a 2D shape.
Yeah, but what I mean, well, I guess it's because I haven't seen it yet that I don't understand what you mean. But I'm trying to, like, understand what you're seeing compared to a normal shadow. Like,
it's not a shadow, it's a 3D object. Because it's a 3D shadow
I see
of a 4D object.
See, this is what I was missing. So you're basically seeing a reflection, kind of. It's more of a reflection than
You're
shadow.
holding an object in your hand, which is a 3D object, but you can scroll a bar across the fourth dimension.
That's so fucking...
It's. I don't even know how to explain it.
I don't... I'm not smart enough for this conversation. I don't even...
Yeah, so that stuff... That and I I have sort of like an obsession with time travel a little bit.
Isn't the fourth dimension time? Isn't that
the fourth dimension? Is time. No, it is. It's
like right above
they
ours.
They say 3 + 1, which and it 3. But it's because I know
simple math.
Yeah, right.
I'm good.
But they specifically call it 3 + 1, where it's like
fuck that.
And I think it's
fucking
because it's a one dimension. It's a single directional dimension.
Okay. But you're seeing it as a 3D
and it's not a spatial dimension. That's why it's 3 + 1. But it could. But here's the thing. I don't understand it enough to really know, because in some ways I believe it can be, that it is mathematically in some ways, especially with like the more advanced physics stuff that you're doing. But basically, I had been watching a whole bunch of like physics stuff and time stuff and like 4D stuff.
Time travel stuff is some of my favorite.
I love it.
Favorite stuff.
And this whole thing of the possibility that Joe Rogan was talking about with the gravity engine, completely.
I don't know if
it places
Bob Lazar.
It places.
It does what you were talking about with the dragging the reality. Yes, that's exactly what it says. It does. Yeah,
you fall down. It's more of you put like a bowling ball on a bed and then you like let a marble throw and it would fall down. It's like it does that to the ship in space.
You saw those videos of the Tic Tac, right?
Moving around, yeah.
It's exactly what Bob Lazar was talking about.
Yeah, it is.
Not only, but it's hard to see it and understand what's going on. And basically, what I thought that stuff was, because I remember seeing it years ago. It came out years ago. The video of the radar, when it happened, it came out on YouTube. I remember seeing it, and I remember being like, that's bullshit.
So like, when Blink-182 guys company released it recently.
Yeah, just the one guy.
Just the one. Yeah. That's the even weirder part for me. Because I was
separated from a life of bliss to just go on this.
Yeah, right. I was a big Blink-182 fan, and I just thought that it was sort of like a joke. That it was like a.
This is what I mean. Like he separated. He was like, no, this is the thing.
Yeah. And now he's like, I don't know what's the truth with the thing, because it just seems
he's either crazy or accurate.
But he's got people who are claiming to be government officials and stuff.
Yeah, this is what I mean. He's either crazy and have convinced these people, or accurate. Because if it's him crazy, the government officials are just using him as a show.
Right, like you were saying before with the.
He's first of all, he's from Blink-182, and second of all,
he's got money. He's got
like you were saying. Yes, exactly what you were saying before. Throw him in there.
The fake information.
Throw him in deep level with us. They're with him. We're his friends.
Of course, like Joe has got the same thing. People things going on with him.
Did you see his interview with him?
Yeah.
His interview is great because the few interviews after that, he's talking about him. He's like, I'm not sure.
He's not sure. Yeah.
I can't. And he was in person with him.
Right.
I felt the same way. I was like, I'm not sure about.
But
it's
like it's like the 4-dimension thing where you're like, it goes against our accepted version of reality.
Mm-hmm. And so harder to cope with and understand.
It's
just
disturbing.
Because it goes against it. Yeah. Well, of course.
It's super disturbing.
It's very
especially
nice to be
comfortable. Who was an atheist for so long.
Well, I mean, okay, so this is you believe in the connection between all humans? Do you believe in that kind of idea?
My girlfriend and I were talking about that for a while, for a little bit recently.
Or do you? I'm sorry. Let me change that question. Do you believe in any version of it? Like, I don't mean necessarily like the Buddhist idea of it, or necessarily like the scientific version of it. Do you?
No, I think we are like independent structures, like the super scientific.
Yeah, but the super scientific version has a very plausible version.
There's a lot of things that are So, like the connection of the trees and shit, which is real.
Exactly. So
the mycelium and
this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, where the mycelium is the kind of thing that we never saw, so we never knew about it, and all throughout history it's talked about how the trees have this ethereal kind of like mystic connection because they didn't see the shit under the ground.
And literally it does. Yeah.
I think humans have a mycelium.
Yeah.
I also think that we're possibly just mushrooms in human form, but that's another story.
So here's you'll like this then. Okay, so the 2D shadow of a 3D object, right?
Yes.
So if you take a sphere and you move a sphere through a piece of paper, you draw on the piece of paper what you're seeing as you move the sphere through the piece of paper. It'll be a circle.
Yes.
Right? So that's the same way, except it's in 3 dimensions.
So it's like you move paper's wrapping around it or something? Like...
You can't visually describe it, but basically there's 3 dimensions, right? There's up, there's up, down, there's left, right, and there's forward, back.
Yes.
Right? And then there's another direction, which is 90 degrees in the 4th dimension to those other ones. So it's not something we can visually talk about because it doesn't exist in our space. See,
I've never heard. I've heard of that idea. I've never heard it described that way.
That's what a dimension is.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That whole. Oh shit. That.
In your brain, it's So that's the.
I think I heard about this thing. Oh shit. Okay. Never mind. This. This conspiracy theory guy that I listen to talks about something else without describing it that way, but all he's talking about is that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry, keep going.
So basically, in that 4D toy game, you can take 4D objects and you can move it through the piece of paper to see the sphere, to see the circle on the paper by moving the sphere through. Right. You can move a 4D object through our 3D space and see a changing shape in 3D, a 3D changing shape, which is the 3D compressed version of the 4-dimensional object.
Whoa.
Right? But what that means is, when you have a piece of paper and you move a circle through, first there's nothing, then there's a dot, then there's a bigger sphere, and then it gets smaller.
Yeah.
And so in 3D space, the same thing happens where if you move, say, a hypercube, which is a 4-dimensional cube, so a hypercube, so a square is four lines connected.
Right.
A cube is 4 cubes connected. Right. We're all
4 squares connected.
6 squares connected.
6 squares connected. Yeah, top and bottom. Yes.
We're each. And then a hypercube would be however many cubes.
Well, they do a decent version of putting it visually in the Marvel movie. You remember that?
Do they?
Yeah, it's in one of them.
Tesseract or something.
The Tesseract is a hypercube.
Oh,
Jesus, that scared the shit out of me too.
There's been a raccoon that fucking walked in here before that scared the. I was like, yeah, and it went away.
They do a good visualization.
Do they show you the folding?
When they're looking at it, it's like a cube. It's like a cube with a cube inside it, and then the corners are connected to that cube.
Right. So that's a 3D. That's a 2D projection of a 3D shadow of a 4D object because you're looking at it on a screen.
Okay. That's probably.
That's why you can't even visualize.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm starting to kind of understand this.
Yeah. I can show you some interesting images and stuff about it. But so here's the thing, right? So you can have the thing that exists because it's on a 4th dimension.
Yeah.
If you're not, it's like what the sphere moves through, right? It can be there, but it's next to the point in that dimension, so you can't see that it's there.
Okay, so what you're seeing is the effect of the two combining, not the thing itself, right? You're seeing what's happening, but you're not seeing what's creating the happening, kind of like that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can be next, if you are standing on the piece of paper, the sphere could be next to you.
Okay.
and you wouldn't see it there.
Right.
Because you're on the piece of paper.
But you would see it going through.
Right, when it's going through. So it can exist, but it exists on the dimension to the side of you in a way that you aren't...
It's peripheral?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So here's the thing, is that I was having a conversation with my mom about... She was suggesting that we might be able to change our DNA by thought. And I was like, there's no hardware. I have a very like hardware software way that the body works as far as my opinion, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, don't forget, we don't know much about the body yet.
Right, either. We don't.
Especially the brain.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, right. As far as I'm concerned, like the body is the hardware.
But I'm sure that's where she was going with it, right? Like the idea that we don't have the
Right, yeah.
We don't understand the capabilities of our... Yes.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
okay, yeah.
And, like the body's the hardware, needing to eat and the balance and all that stuff is the software, and then
information, stuff like that. Yeah.
No, that's like we are data. So you know when you turn off like an N64 without you turn off your game without saving.
Sure.
So that's a person dying.
Huh.
So we are the data running on the system. We're not the software. We're not the hardware. We're the data.
So we are like, okay, so like what we were saying before about how when things go over and over again, but stay like the layers of paint, like you'll eventually see a 3D thing happen because you've gone over that spot over and over again.
The being, you mean?
Basically like a human.
Yeah, we're like a complicated data structure.
Yeah, we're the part of the house that wasn't scraped off and then redone. We're
the furniture more than anything. Yeah,
gotcha.
We're not even
more like furniture than yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, but and I was like and I was like, there's no hardware in there that does like data manipulation. There's only like error through like sun on the genetics and stuff as far as we know. But then like this whole year like destroying my brain, and now I'm like just rethinking everything, and I'm learning about this 4D stuff. And so this is the whole point of why I'm saying it. You were asking about the connection between us.
Yes.
I realized it's very possible that there are 4D structures that we do not see that are part of us.
With. Yeah, okay.
So our brain could have, like, our brain could be the dot on the sphere on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
And there could be the rest of the sphere in this extra dimension of space where the rest of the structure of our consciousness or something could be. Which, like, I hate because it's, like, super... Like I just, it just feels
it's like
super...
having a box full of stuff that it's like having a Christmas present in like July that you haven't opened.
Yeah,
and you're just sitting there looking at it like.
But it just feels so woo, but it also feels so possible now. Like just thinking about
the possibility is the part that makes it frustrating.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what frustrates me about instances like with my UFO instance. The only thing that bothered me about it was the part that I didn't really have the ability to understand, as opposed to the whole thing I didn't understand because I didn't really know what happened. What happened was I saw something out of the corner of my eye and I looked up and I saw these lights that were far enough away that they were in space. I could tell. They weren't satellites because they were moving like in a weird... They did this like zoop and they like went out.
Cool.
They like went
and
flew away. They looked like stars. But I could tell they weren't stars because of their movement. They went...
Yeah, I hope that wasn't a star because that would have caused some big issues.
We would be dead, probably. Yeah, we would be like... it would have been a weird thing, but I could tell it wasn't a thing, but I knew I saw something, and I had never saw anything, so I was psyched.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta call somebody and tell somebody about this. I only had one person I could call because all of my friends weren't into UFOs and stuff, but my one friend... Kenny. Hi, Kenny.
Deep into it.
Super. Me and him, we love
Kenny
talking
knew
about
before we did.
What?
Kenny knew before we did that something was up.
He loves breaking down stuff and like talking about possibilities and like all this stuff. So I was like, I gotta call Kenny. Pick up my phone. And Kenny's calling me.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Gets weirder. That would have been weird enough. But that kind of stuff happens to me all the time.
Right.
All the fucking time. And I don't know how to understand that.
Because you don't notice it when it doesn't happen.
Well, exactly. And that's why that was part of it that I was like, okay, I don't understand it, but it doesn't really bother me because it happens all the time, whatever. I mean, it was a coincidence.
Perfect randomness means that there's a lot of random shit that happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But when randomness layers on top of each other, coincidence becomes a very hard word to use.
Right?
So he's calling me. And I go, bro, I had my phone in my hand. I was about to call you. And he goes, no, bro, whatever you have to tell me can wait. I just saw a fucking UFO.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. He saw the same
saw the same thing.
I was on a separate block from him. He lives on this block, and his backyard is right here. I was right here in front.
So, I mean, he's a UFO guy. He should have that camera flip quick.
This is not. No, this is not one of those things. It was literally one of these things where both of us saw it in the peripheral and looked up and saw it and went, "Whoa, what was that?" But the call between us, because of the timing, made me really, really, really disregard that whole coincidence aspect of him calling me when I thought of it.
But the chance of you two experiencing, I mean, there's a good chance that would happen.
Mm-hmm. Is there?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so you guys live in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
You are friends.
Sure.
So you're both open to the possibility that something moving and, like, say you were both, like, religious or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe you would have been like, I just saw an angel or something.
Well, no matter what the term for the thing was, you think it's still, it's because we were connected to it.
Well,
it's more the
chances
of us seeing it.
You just said he was the only friend who was into it, so
sure.
He's the one who you would call if that happens.
Right.
He probably a bunch of people don't want to listen to him, and you like him because he's into.
No, I see what you're saying. We called each other because of that, for sure.
Like,
I agree. Yes.
There's a lot of reasons why you guys would why that would be set up.
Right.
Like, there's
I agree with that.
Like, it would be more weird if you decided to call somebody you never met and they decided to call you.
They had seen... Yeah. No, I agree. That would have been weirder, but don't you think that... So coincidence-wise, I would say a coincidence would have been me wanting to call him and him calling me.
Out of thin air without having a prompter.
Right. Yeah. That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
I would say him seeing the thing and me also being in the right... Not only the right neighborhood, because I'm almost never in my neighborhood. Him either. He works
being outside and
both being outside and looking at that spot in the sky and having it be
right.
That is also a coincidence on the level of possibility that you're talking about. Also, the idea that we wanted to call each other because of our mutual attraction to the thing. That is another thing that definitely is very possible because of coincidence. The 3 or 4, whatever it is, coming together like that.
Yeah.
It fucked me up.
But in game design, like on video games, you don't use a random number generator, like a perfect random, like really good random number generators all the time. Okay. Because this is what I was saying before. Random numbers repeat a lot. Okay. So like a real random number generator will be like...
It's like next to impossible to develop,
It'll be like 8... Well, it is, but if you have like a really good random number generator, it would be like 8, 8, 8, 8, 4, 8, 8, 3, 9, 8,
and you wouldn't notice the thing.
You would think it wasn't random. You would say there's too much repetition. So actually in a lot of game, like where there's things where things are set by random number generators, they have to put imperfect generation because as far as like for humans... randomness seems too repetitive.
Okay, so you're getting into what I was thinking about with the connection with people. I don't think that things are necessarily as random as we would like them to be in the chaos of the universe, because that separates us from the universe. Yeah. You know how big the universe is? No, you don't, because nobody does. And that's scary.
However long it takes for the universe to... I don't know how fast it's expanding. Time is 14.5 billion.
But this is what I mean. Yeah. Even that description, which is a pretty fucking on-point description...
Right. And it's probably... doesn't mean shit. It's just how far we can tell.
But even even that... You don't know how big it is because it's expanding, and we also can't see the edges of it, so we don't really know if that's it, really. We don't know if we're one burst of cloud in an explosion of a bunch of bursts of clouds. We don't know anything about the universe, so that's scary. Even our galaxy, it's scary big. Yeah. What do we do to separate ourselves? Say it's chaotic, and there's no... We live in a very structured, blah, 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 and there's no chaos in our lives. There's chaos
Make the Milky Way great again.
Oh no!
That's where we'll end it.
that is a great end. And you know what? I expect this Christmas. Expect a T-shirt.
Oh.
That's gonna be your Christmas present this year.
Extra large.
Make extra large,
yeah.
and just. I'm not going to get you a hat because that's stupid.
I don't want to wear
stupid.
Hat.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to wear a fucking hat with a saying on it. It's stupid. Unless you're a Giants
Unless
fan.
it says "Make the Milky Way great again."
No, but that's what I'm saying. You get a shirt that says that because you'll want to wear a shirt like that. The hat will sit on your shelf and it'll be a cool thing to look at. But people need to see that. I love that. Make the Milky Way great again. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. Oh, that made me happy. But yeah, we'll end it on that. But that was what I was getting at. Is the idea that whatever's going on out there, I feel like it's the mycelium of the trees. And we don't understand it yet. And I think that AI and a physical manifestation of our thoughts, which is what is really happening on a big scale now, which has always happened. I want to be able to travel from here to here. I'll do it in this way. I'll develop this thing. Get a train, get a car. We are doing it on a daily basis on such a extreme scale that I feel like we're going to morph with it. And then we're going to see this connection of the ceiling and the floor.
Yeah, science is going to for sure get weird when doesn't have our. If we can figure out how to not program it with our biases,
see, this is why I think we need to but we are morphing with more machine mentality. Because if you do look at it from human perspective, like you're saying about coincidence, like you don't necessarily even want it to be something woo, because woo isn't real.
Right. Also, I took a statistics class in high school, which completely
fucked you up.
Yeah, well, it I
just mean rationale.
Yeah,
fucked you up.
It made the world really simple.
Yeah.
And everybody, like the small world thing. Everyone's like, it's a small world. Mm-hmm. And statistically, the larger the world is, because there's more people, you're going to have a greater chance of running into people you know.
I've heard of that.
It ruined all of the things where I was like, wow.
But see, that kind of statistic, I think, or that kind of happening, I think proves the fact that we are what we are. I think anyway is different parts of the same brain. As in, there's probably I would look at Earth as a group of 20 people. And the different interactions and the different things, and why you see somebody like Reggie Watts and you say, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know him. I feel like I know him.
Yeah.
I would...
Probably, yeah, because we're this basically...
From the same fucking thing.
Just
the
like
same,
a different version of the simulation.
Different version, and you could get into simulation theory on it, but I feel
I'm not talking about simulation, I'm just saying
but that's a different version of
evolution itself is a simulator. It creates
And we're in a simulation here. The whole idea of our structure just being covering for what we actually are. Yeah. We're in a simulation.
To try to come into another simulation or the other direction and make another simulation.
Well, it's like what you were saying with is death is the birth of the next person.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the whole idea of transference of things like consciousness is way more scientific than it is spiritual. Yeah. It's way more of a I don't know.
What's the saying? Any technology, not any previously unseen technology is magic or some shit like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Something about some technology you don't know is equal to magic. It's the same thing with knowledge is
exactly
something that's outside. One more thing. We were. I was watching. Not Bill Gates. Steve Jobs talk about the iPhone. Yeah,
he was a fascinating dude.
Yeah, he was He was doing his talk about the iPhone. And he's
one of his presentations.
Yeah, the first time that he shows it to everybody.
Sure.
And he's talking about how you have this object in your car. He's like, we made Apple has produced 3 machines this year.
Mm.
We made a machine that allows you your GPS machine in your car. Mm-hmm. He talks about that for a while, and then he's like, we made a machine that allows you to connect to people.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and he's like, and we made.
And they're all on the phone.
He's like, actually, we made one machine, and it's all of those things.
That's great. And I love those things that he did. He was great with that.
I didn't know about this. To bring people. It's an interesting education on how to tell people about new things. Because
using the old things.
Yeah. The world is unicorns, like we were talking about.
Well, yeah. I love that sentence because unicorns fits that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It was super, like, I don't know why I was even talking about this, but that build-up is...
Well, he built it up right. He's also a salesman. That's the other thing. You remember when he came out with the iPod Mini? Remember that? No. Or the Shuffle?
Oh, he pulled it out of his pocket.
He had it in the change pocket in his jeans. He had like tight jeans on. He came out. He's like, I got the new iPod. And everybody's like, oh shit. Like, all right. And he's talking about, he's like, it'll hold 50 songs and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's, and he just pulls this little thing out and everybody was like, just him pulling it out, it was like, whoa, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. He's a fascinating
that
dude.
showman thing is the way he does that is cool.
For sure. Yeah. But what you were saying about the using of the previous things and unicorns, you ever see Unicorn Store? It's a Netflix movie.
Unicorn Store.
Yeah, it was Samuel Jackson and the woman who played Captain Marvel.
No.
Or not Captain, whatever the woman knew.
No. Worth watching?
Owen, or... It's great, yeah. But it's a movie designed for, like, teenage girls. But you'll love it because you're an artist. It's a movie about artists, really. But it's... The filter of it's for teenage girls because it's about a unicorn store.
By the way, the world is unicorns thing is that I had this saying that the world is unicorns, which means like in the old days you would find like a horse and then you would find like the horn of like a walrus or something, and then they would combine that into being like a unicorn. And so like everything in this world, like like great artists steal or whatever, like nothing in this world is unique. We never invent our own.
It's a conglomerate.
Everything is a unicorn. It's a combination of multiple things, and it's not that it's like special, like it's like a unicorn.
But it's something that didn't exist before too.
It's two things slapped together to
make
a
version of this thing.
New thing.
Have you ever? Oh, this is. We'll end this. But have you ever heard this idea that what you are as a person is just the space that every other human is leaving on the planet? Like, you aren't you. Yes. You are the absence of everybody else.
You're the, like, reflection of the
Well, that's one way to put it, yeah. Like, you're just, like, the...
I hear what you're saying, though, is the absence part, because it's like a... Yeah. There's a role which is left to you.
Right. Now, shit. That was an experiment. I didn't know if that was a theory or not. This is something I thought up last night. And I was like, I wonder if this is a real thing. I don't know how to look it up, so I'm just going to ask somebody. I was like, oh, you're a perfect person. I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah.
It is a thing that is already a theory, though. It's like an idea.
Well,
you've heard of it.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like the Shakespeare line. The world is the world. We are the players, and the world is a stage.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it ties into that.
So it's like you are not like a unicorn. You're not the normal sense of it. You're not this like conscious willful being. You're just you're the embodiment. You're a player. You're the embodiment of.
See, I don't know. That's not what I mean. What I mean is it's like.
I hear what you're saying. It's different though. It's more depressing.
Oh, it's way more depressing. Yes, my version is way more depressing. Yeah. My version of it's basically saying you are where everybody missed out. Where everybody else is missing it and not getting it, that's you.
But you know what? There's a lot of space there. There's a lot of space there.
That's space
where people are missing out.
This is where you get different people. Exactly. This is where you get somebody like Reggie Watts, because people were missing that shit. Yeah. People didn't get that.
Right.
People didn't get what Reggie Watts is. He has one of the best shows. Just his comedy, his musical comedy thing. Right. It's one of the best things ever. I've developed the whole thing on it. I bought a looper machine and started making music for the first time in my life because of that man.
Because of him, really?
Yeah.
I
never had the urge to do it. I'd pick up a fucking instrument and be terrible at it and be like, I don't have the time or mentality or anything.
Really, it's all.
I want to learn this comedy music thing. And I almost, for a while, was going to call myself Wedgie Rots because I was too close to what he was doing. So I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just copying this dude.
You got to be a porn parody at that point.
Yeah, no, but it filtered away from that. But yeah, no, he made me want to create music because he was what I was missing. He was what a lot of people were missing. Comedy Bang Bang.
Serious play.
Well, it came after Comedy Bang Bang came after years, decades of these sitcoms and these talk shows that were just bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah.
They didn't make it. People didn't. They're mindless entertainment. You don't watch a fucking talk show.
They're advertisements, actually.
They're advertisements, exactly.
Yeah,
even if you get a comedic or entertaining person on it, it doesn't even matter anymore. It's like...
They tell the crowd when to laugh. And like,
exactly.
That's just,
yeah. And I looked at Reggie Watts as like this version of what I'm talking about, where all Reggie Watts is where everybody else didn't get it. He's like this materialization of like this missing piece that society really needed.
It's that piece of mycelium on his head. It's sucking in all the...
he's just growing and he's like, keep trimming it.
That's why, yeah, I got the... I'm trying to get there.
Dude, I miss my long hair so much, and I don't want to cut it.
I was planning on donating it, so I'm gonna keep going until the coronavirus thing.
I think you need like 12 inches as a man.
I'm getting
something
there.
like that. Yeah, you're almost there. You can almost do it. You probably could donate some actually.
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
But
it's long though. It's or 9 or 12 or something like that.
It's pretty thin. I gotta get the rest of it in.
Okay.
So I think, because I end up like leaving it in like a shit bun in the back of my head for a couple days, so it's like way thinner than it should be. So I really need to. Yeah.
And every time you take that shit bun out, it comes with 900 hairs, and it's like yeah.
But we lose 100 hairs a day, I believe.
Dude, I lose like 900 hairs. But I keep growing them. But it's not like I'm thin-haired.
But that's why it seems like once you know that fact, it seems way less like you're going bald, which I don't think I am. Because especially when you have long hair, you're like, am I dying?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah. Well, that's what when I would get into. I would get out of the shower in high school, and I'd be like, "Am I already going?" Like, 'cause my grandfathers were bald. You know, I was worried. Like my mother's grandfather or my mother's father.
That's like lifestyle, nutrition. Those people were under so much stress.
I agree.
And they wore hats.
And they wore hats all the fucking time.
What the hell?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That was a great... I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That is a... I always thought the nutrition thing, though, because they were shit humans. They were not... Yeah. That's... But when I would pull my hair... like
they were filtering it, man. They were fucking filtering it.
Filtering what?
Existence.
They weren't even... They were barely even...
Tough.
Yeah, they were barely even, like, existing. The 20s were more like a video game than life now. It was more like, all right, no, you got to go farming.
Yeah.
You got to, well, do you want to be able to do the thing?
Yeah.
You want to be able to do tomorrow?
Right.
Better save your game.
Right.
Better save your fucking thing. You better have a kid before you die at 20.
We're getting there now. We have 20% actual unemployment, I think. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
20% actual unemployment? That's not bad.
No, I mean, I'm being sarcastic. It's horrible. 20% is...
Well, I mean, isn't it a lot better than it was, though? I remember hearing like a 40%.
It went up. It went back up again.
Maybe what I heard was wrong, though. I don't know.
The actual is like meaning like those jobs are...
You mean on the books jobs?
Like they're gone. Like 20%.
Oh,
like it's not like the jobs are coming back after Corona.
I see what you're saying.
It's like
the proportion I heard was the other thing was of people just out of work. I think.
No. Right. Those are like unemployed numbers. Yes, but this is like 20%.
This is jobs that are gone.
Gone. Yeah. Like 20% of people are now lost their job.
That is a big number.
It's 1 out of 5.
Yeah, that's a big number.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
It's a big, especially when you think about
Don't worry, they're getting ready for the robots. They know that people don't want to give their jobs to robots.
Trump will get reelected, and then he's going to give us the $1,200. So it'll be good.
Well, the $1,200 did me right, so.
Yeah, no.
I'm good, Mr. Trump. I'm good. We're fine with that. Totally fine. That's on record. That's on record. Good. Can go about my day. Marcel,
dude,
nice to meet you.
Yeah,
and it was nice to see you again. I appreciate it.
Agreed.